Big O Show. This is the 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 Big O Show. This
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, ready to rock and roll, baby, from beautiful Hialeah Park. Yeah, every Thursday we're rocking out here at the second floor. Raining and it's ugly outside. It's always beautiful in here inside Hialeah Park. So come on out and join us. It's a beautiful thing every Thursday. O'clock. Telling you, come on, have some fun. Playoffs. They are now in the finals. It's just absolutely amazing to think that they are now one of the finalists in NHL. That is just an absolutely, crazy story. But it's they're real, man. And that's the key. You look at that team and they are real. And that's the part that I'm impressed with because it gives you a really good chance to actually win the cup. So we'll see what happens tonight with Dallas and with the Vegas Knights. So we'll obviously we need Dallas tonight badly. We need that, like, make them come back here. It would be nice. I mean, what can I tell you about Matthew Tkachuk that you don't know already, that you haven't seen already? Third time with a game winner. You needed a dog out there. You needed a guy. Oh, wait a minute. We got a bad connection, apparently. Huh? Oh, it's what it is. It's going in and out. Okay. All right. Bad visual and audio. Is it weak or something going on? Okay. So it's back to strong again? Okay. So it looks like we're good now. Looks like it kind of leveled off now. All right. We leveled off. Yeah. Maybe the weather. You're probably right. The weather's probably messing with everything here. Anyway, there's an echo. Really? I don't know why. Let me see. Let me see. No, no echo. I just raised the iPad on here, and there's no echo. So I don't know. Maybe it's for you or something. Listen, right now with the rain and everything, who knows? All right. So let's get back to some talk here. Panthers last night make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. An amazing feat by this team. Matthew Tkachuk, what you needed, what we talked about last year, right? With Huberdeau and Barkov, I said you need a dog, not one of these two guys, because these two guys are kind of passive and they're not necessarily really number one. Even though Barkov is a number one talent on any team, he is not a alpha leader. He's more of a blue collar star that kind of goes to work. You know what I mean? Because he is a super talent. It's a whole different. He's not like Bam Adebayo's a role player, a super role player. You know what I mean? He's not a star by any stretch. Barkov is a star, but he just doesn't have that thing in him to be also the leader, the dog in the locker room, on the ice, and that kind of stuff. Matthew does. Matthew has that it quality. And so that's where it's a whole different ballgame. And obviously 3-game winning, goals by this guy. I mean, what more do you want? And Bob played great. I know he gave up a couple goals yesterday, but I'm all good, man, because that's a hell of a team that you beat. You beat 3 awesome teams to get to the Stanley Cup Finals here. Okay? We got to give a lot of props. And then I started to think about all of this. Okay? So where does Matthew Tkachuk rank in greatest trades in South Florida history? Okay? Now, automatically, Shula and Riley are 1 and 2. Okay? However you want to do it, if you want to put Shula 1 and Riley 2, Riley 1, Shula 2, I don't care. Okay? There are no bigger trades in the history of South Florida than those two. And then you've got to go LeBron, because it produced 2 titles already. You know what I mean? And so, Matthew Tkachuk already passed Ricky Williams. Because, Ricky Williams got 1,800 yards. And what did that do for you? It's not his fault. It's a team game. But Matthew Tkachuk has got you into the Stanley Cup. So that trade's already better. Okay. So I'm thinking about some of these trades from the past. And part of making it how great the trade is how it turned out, right? Obviously, you trade for Shula, your franchise becomes a royalty of the NFL while he's here. The winningest franchise in all of pro sports by the time the man retired, right? So he left his imprint. You trade for Riley. The rest is history. He wins a title. Spo wins a couple titles. So the culture, the coaching, the players, everything, Shula and Riley those trades. I mean, Matthew has to win like 6 Stanley Cups to be considered into this conversation with those two guys. But he has climbed pretty quickly, because remember, it's what did that trade result in for you? You know what I'm saying? Now, the problem I have now is, what do we do about 97? What do we do with 03 Marlins? You'd put Pudge in there as one of the great trades of all time. You have to, right? Don't you have to put Pudge as one of the great trades of all time? The result, and you needed a leader on that team for all those guys. He was that guy for them. I give him credit for that. You know what I'm saying? But that's where Matthew Tkachuk is. Matthew Tkachuk is in that conversation of top 10 trades of all time. Because, you guys will start coming up with a couple of different ones there. But again, it has to make a difference. So Chris Bosh is ahead of Matthew Tkachuk also, right? It results in two titles. He was a trade. Trades. Remember, their selfishness forced the trade to Miami. They could have signed outright as free agents, but their greed, their stupidity, because LeBron and Bosh were stupid. Okay, stupid. Okay, let's not mince words here. Okay, LeBron and Bosh were stupid because they wanted their bird rights. So they were worried more about money, and they forced Miami to give up first-round picks to trade for Bosh and for LeBron. When, if those idiots would have figured it out, no, we'll go over there and you keep the picks, use the picks to help us get players. By the end of the run, you had no picks. You had nothing to trade because you're an idiot. You forced them to give up all the picks. But that's neither here nor there. That's a part of the big three. There's stuff that went in there that, totally pisses me off. What Bosh and LeBron did, what LeBron did to make his decision after the 10-day moratorium to screw Riley, the drafting of that idiot point guard, and then Chris Bosh, bless him, I get it that he's trying to, make a comeback, but for 3 years he held the Heat hostage with the blood clot situation. I'm coming back, I'm going, I'm coming back, I'm going, and ruined everything for them. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of shit that went on there that pisses me off. Even though they got titles, there's a lot of selfish crap that went on. Bro, Bosh held, after you leave Toronto, you come here to win 2 titles. He then tells the Heat, well, no, you have to pay me more money, or if not, I'll go to Houston. Are you serious, bro? Are you serious? You're going to tell me that? Like, there's shit that went on that if I'm Riley, brother, I'd be mother effing people. Serious, bro. We create an environment here so you guys can get your titles. And this is the way you're going to treat me. You're going to make a decision after a 10-day moratorium, and you're going to hold a gun to my head and tell me that I got to pay you more. If not, you'll take less and go to Houston? What? Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. I've never let that go, and I never will let that go, because to me that's part of the stupidity. And by the way, why don't you go listen to my Tua Mahomes segment that we posted? There's a similarity what Bosh and LeBron did that goes with what I was talking about. But anyway, so you look at this, the Matthew Tkachuk trade is, quickly climbing as one of the best trades in South Florida history. Now, if you complete it here and you win a Stanley Cup, it starts to really solidify itself in a big time way. It already has, because he's what you needed. He's Jimmy Butler, he's Dwayne Wade, he's Alonzo Mourning, he's Dan Marino. He's one of those guys now, right? He's there with LeBron and Bosh and Wade and any of the great players that have played down here. He's with Dwight Stevenson. He's with Larry Little. He's at that level. He's one of the greats that we've seen here. There's no doubt in my mind. You don't play like that if you're not great. They sell you this stuff with like, oh, well, he does all the little things. Yeah. I don't need Tkachuk to be doing all the little things. I need him to win. I need him to close out games like he did. That's what superstars do. They carry your teams. You know what I'm saying? So that's where this trade, it starts to climb up there in South Florida lore. It is one of the great trades of all time, man. One of the great trades of all time. Where you put it, the ranking, it's still open. It's still open. What if they win the cup? Then we got to find a spot somewhere. It might be right behind LeBron and Bosh, right? Because they've got a couple of titles. It might be right behind those guys. That's the only way it is. And Pudge, you might have to include Pudge in there. My problem, like I was just telling you, what do I do in 97? You traded for Moises Alou. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, I covered that team. I was a beat guy for that team. Yes, I'm old. And let me tell you something. If Dutch Dalton is not there, I don't know if they win the title. And he had a couple hits. No, but what I'm telling you, Sean, he controlled that locker room. When they traded for him, things leveled off in that locker room. They weren't really on track for a championship at that moment. Okay? Until Dalton walked in there. So I could argue Kevin Brown, I can argue Dalton, I can argue Al Leiter, I can argue, that same year, I saw Kevin Brown throw a no-hitter in Candlestick. That same year, 97. I was in Candlestick Park when Kevin Brown threw a no-hitter. So this was a hell of a year that there's a lot of people in 97 that you could, because they traded for a lot of people that year. That year, that team was the only thing is that team was so loaded. That's the most unimpressive championship of them all because, you were loaded, bro. Like the 03 Marlins are way more impressive than the 97 Marlins because the 97 Marlins, you looked at them and you said, bro, this is a championship team. This is freaking loaded. I would walk into that locker room like, bro, this is Devon White and Bobby Bonilla and Eisenreich and Dalton and AJ Burnett, Leiter and Brown and Alex Fernandez was injured. He got injured. Charles Johnson. It was loaded, dude. Gary Sheffield. It was just a stupidly talented team. So they're supposed to, it's disappointing if you don't win. Now, the 03 Marlins, that was magic, dude. Just like what's going on with the Panthers right now. It's a lot of magic. Even though, as I've told you before, I believe more in the Panthers than the Heat. The Heat is more flukish what's going on. The Panthers, they're more talented. You know what I'm saying? They are more talented than the Heat. They have more studs than the Heat. They only have one stud on the Heat. They have several studs on the Florida Panthers. Because to me, Verhaeghe, Reinhart, Burnett, bro, Bennett, I'm sorry, that hit by Bennett yesterday. Holy shit, dude, he knocked that guy out. And then Barkov and Tkachuk, yeah, the Heat don't have that. They don't have that, So that's where it's a different ballgame. But wow, dude, this Tkachuk trade is one for the ages, man. Definitely one for the ages. Field was a great trade, yes, but again, it's kind of like 97, William. Too loaded. That's the problem. Too loaded. And that's where you just can't give, Bonacani or Warfield or a couple of the guys that you did trade for. They're not the only reason why. Like Tkachuk is that's the reason why you are what you are right now. He's the guy that has made an entire difference. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I would go. LeBron, in football, it's such a team sport. Like the Ricky trade would have been was a longevity trade. It was only a couple years, so giving up the couple first rounders really did not. It really was not a good trade for the Miami Dolphins, to be quite honest. In the end, it didn't really end up being a great trade. And plus, you didn't really produce much. But in football, it's so hard unless it's a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It's just too hard to give it to one guy. So Warfield, I can't just give it to him because you passed 6 times in the Super Bowl. See what I'm saying, Will? So Zonka was way more important than Paul Warfield was every day of the week and twice on Sundays. In fact, Zonka, Kick, and Morris were more important on the offensive line than Warfield was because you used those guys even more. You know what I'm saying? In a Super Bowl, when you pass 6 times, It's like, yeah, we don't need a passing game in this one. That's kind of awkward. So football is really hard unless it's that quarterback or something that really changed it. And with the Dolphins, they had a monster line, they had a monster defense, they had a Hall of Fame quarterback, they had Hall of Fame running back, Hall of Fame wide receiver, Hall of Fame secondary. Jake Scott, Jesus Christ. So it's just, it's different in football. It's just too much. Too much. Paul Warfield was the greatest trade. No, it's not. No, not even close. It's not even close. But it's a nice try because Shula dwarfs all of that. So Shula, Riley are 1 and 2, however you want to put it, and then LeBron is probably your third guy because it's 2 titles that he brought, and he's the ultimate difference maker. While Warfield is maybe your best receiver ever, it's in football, it's just not the same kind of impact, unfortunately. Yeah, Sheffield. But the problem is, again, in 97, it's too many guys. And I covered that team, so I know the vibe of that team. Dalton was more important than Jim Leland. Okay? Listen to me. Darren Dalton was more important than Jim Leland. Jim Leland ends up choking away another World Series or failing in the playoffs if there's no Darren Dalton. Take it from the guy that was in that locker room, that was talking to those guys on a consistent basis. I was in there all the time. I knew the vibe of that locker room. Without Darren Dalton, there's no title. Okay? None.
That was after Dalton, the Phillies run? Or
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, it broke my heart when Toronto and Joe Carter hit the home run. Yes.
So he knew what it took to get there, though. That's what I mean, like when you're talking about his presence in the locker room.
Bro. Yeah. And Eisenreich was solid, too. An excellent, a professional hitter was Jim Eisenreich. Now, that team was loaded, bro. It was pathetic how rich in talent that 97 team was. God, that was a fun team, man. Big O is dead right. Shula and Riley are the best trades. Yeah, it's not even close, dude. That's not up for any discussion whatsoever. There is no player in South Florida history that will ever come close to the impact of Shula and Riley. It's impossible. It'll never happen. It would take one player to win like 8 titles or something for us to do that. It's not even close. LeBron is the idea is who's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That's the discussion right there. And how far can Matthew Tkachuk take the Panthers and then continue, by the way, because he's got plenty of years left, and this Panther team ain't going it. By the way, the Panthers get cap space next year. Okay? So they gain a little cap space next year, which is really, really good. Yes, hit the like button. Thank you, GP Trap. Big O, I saw Tkachuk play junior up here in London, Canada. His line was one of the best junior lines of all time with Marner and Dvorak. They won a Memorial Cup that year. How about that? A Warfield trade was the best trade, hands down. Jesus Christ, I'm so sick and tired of how every team gets all the praise, and yet the Dolphins, which paved the way for all other teams, get backlashed. No, that has nothing to do with it, and you're way off on Warfield. You, William, everybody else. Okay? It's football, bro. I just told you, one of the Super Bowls, they passed 6 times. That kills your argument. Okay? So Larry Little was just as important as Warfield, and Zonka was just as important as Warfield, or maybe even more. Bob Greasy. So, they're all, now they're not trades, but the problem is in football, it's just there's too many people, and that team is so loaded. You know what I mean? Like somebody brought up Bonacani. That's a great selection there too. You know what I'm saying? But there's no way I would pick a player on the 70s team because it was so loaded, like the 97 Marlins. I can't do it. Can't do it. It has to be the Panthers last year, and now look at them with Tkachuk. See what I'm saying? Look at the Heat without LeBron and with LeBron. Look at the Heat without a healthy Chris Bosh and with Chris Bosh. And that's where I have to go. And then the 03 Marlins. I got to give Pudge a little love on that one. I do. So it's a great discussion. But unfortunately, the 70s Dolphins and the 97 Marlins are flawed because they're too loaded. And that just, just can't. And too many people. Big O and Sean, thanks for all that you do. I enjoy your show daily from Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. Beautiful North Carolina. Barkov actually threw a punch yesterday right before Tkachuk got his nuts smacked by Burns' hockey stick. Yeah. If Belichick's messing with Bill because Patsy's were docked 2 OTA days for a meeting, for a special teams meeting, like, seriously? Like, the meeting became, because they put it on a schedule, it became mandatory. That's what the NFLPA says. And nothing at this point is mandatory. It's optional. So it's kind of like semantics. So they're kind of like messing with it and all that. Hey, listen, if you want to screw the Patriots, you can go ahead and screw them all you want.
Everybody's just piling on Belichick, right? Everybody's just like, all right, he's down. Let's keep kicking him.
Yeah. I have no problem with that, okay? But I do find it kind of silly, to be quite honest, okay? And I'm not here to defend Belichick. I hope that man has a miserable time for the rest of his career in coaching. Okay, I don't nothing personal against the dude, but seriously, come on, man. Oh man, if Tkachuk is the best trade in South Florida sports, I vote trading away Jason Taylor to the Redskins was Florida's worst. Well, I didn't say it was the best because it can't be. There's no way it can be the best. When Shula and Riley are here, it ends there. That's the conversation. Those are the greatest trades of South Florida history, and those things are like way ahead of everybody. It's not even close. Okay, so we gotta call it like we see it here. All right. So those two are 1 and 2, and I don't know how you want to put it. I'm gonna go Shula 1 and Riley 2. But if anybody wants to tell me, hey, Riley had brought in Spo and kind of left a what's that called, a what? Yeah, kind of a blueprint, but it's not a blueprint, but it's an extension. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, here we go. Jimmy Johnson gave us Dave Wanstead. Yeah, way to go, Jimmy. Way to screw Marino and then screw us and give us Dave Wanstead. And then Frank Haith. Why did we get Frank Haith? We got it from no, I'm sorry. No. My bad. No. Perry Clark we got from Leonard Hamilton. That's what it was. Perry Clark was a disaster. Okay? Legacy. That's the word. Riley's legacy was for a short time stand the man, and then he gave us Spo. So his legacy is there. Leonard Hamilton's legacy was Perry Clark. I could punch you in the mouth right now, Leonard Hamilton, for leaving me Perry Clark. Jimmy Johnson, bro, I'll shave your ass bald for leaving me Dave Wanstead. Come on. Didn't Ron Frazier leave us Mike Kelly right before we got Jim from Long Beach, Jim Morris? Am I correct here? What's it called? I just said the guy's name. No, before Jim Morris, Brian Kelly. Oh no, not Brian Kelly or something Kelly. Anyway, the dude got caught drinking with the players and they fired him. So my point is, if you want to put Riley over Shula, I got no problem because Riley left a legacy after that, a plan in place from above that has been incredibly successful. So he did something, right? So what was it? What Kelly was it? Brad Kelly. That's it. Brad Kelly. Brad Kelly. Yeah. He got. I remember, bro. I don't have Omar's memory. I have a rich memory of South Florida sports. Very rich memory of South Florida sports. Okay? I don't forget, Leonard Hamilton, that you left me Perry Clark. I don't forget, Jimmy Johnson, that you left me Dave Wanstead. Ron Frazier, rest in peace, but you left me Brad Kelly. You know? At least with Riley, Riley gave me a coach that's better than him. Spoels had a better run than Riley as a Heat coach. Not overall. Obviously, you had the Knicks and the Lakers. Riley is, one of the 3-4 greatest coaches ever. But just Heat runs, Spoels superior to Riley. So, were you reading the Brad Kelly story? You didn't know about that story? Well, how old are you? You're how much younger are you than I am? You're in your 40s? You're 40 what? 47. Okay, you're almost 10 years behind me. So yeah, okay. So yeah. When that happened, you were really young, bro. Yeah, I was in my late teens or early 20s at that point. So yeah, you were really young at that point. Yeah.
Although I remember Ron Frazier.
Oh my God, the wizard, bro. Ron Frazier is God. He is so awesome.
That's when the College World Series was something on TV when it came on ABC, and you're like, oh.
He's the man that made college baseball matter, actually, and get on TV and all that kind of stuff, man. So yeah. Does all this Celtics winning in 7 prove there's Miami hate in the national media? No, Troy. No. If you listen to the show, I warned you guys ahead of time. It's not so much the hate on Miami. Okay, that has nothing to do with it, or very little, if anything, to do with it. It's that the flukish nature of the Miami Heat run. And that's what nobody believes it still. Okay, it's Giannis getting injured, opening the door. The Knicks are a joke. They're not really anything. And then here you got the Celtics, and all of a sudden you take Munster lead, and it's almost like what's happened against them, not more of what they've done. And I think that's what it is. And that's why it opens the door. And if they win tonight in Boston, I already warned you about this on postgame. When I did the postgame show, I warned you about all the FUD. I told you the FUD was coming. And that's because it's hard to believe that the Heat are here. Because when you look at their talent, it's war. So for people to comprehend that this team is the second best team in the NBA because they've made it to the finals. And that's why the doubt I told you was going to set in right away. And brother, it's going to get even bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay? They lose tonight, it's like a rogue wave in the ocean. Yeah, and if they lose bad tonight, yeah. Dude 67, thank you for the love in the super chat. Says Big O Sean, best sports show around. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We ready to go? All right, let's do it. Let's go. Let's talk with Marcel Louis-Jacques, our Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins and NFL reports.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins report with Marcel Louis-Jacques is in session.
Welt and Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
there he is, locked and loaded. How you doing, my man? You doing good?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Still coming down from the emotional high of last night's win. That was only the third hockey game I've been to as an adult. Ironically, all of them have involved the Panthers. I went up to a Sabres game in Buffalo, and they were playing the Panthers. But that was the best. Obviously, we bought last-minute tickets. They had risen a little bit, and then we managed to find them a little cheaper on another site. Seats were great. Seats were great, man. Like for 300 level tickets at a stadium.
That arena has almost everywhere is a good seat, bro.
Yeah, that was that was the first time I've ever been able to follow the puck, man. I can't see through the glass.
The way they designed that, well, they designed it to be a hockey arena, and it's impressive, dude. It really is.
Yeah. So that was great, man. Like that was really cool to see. Tkachuk is the best hockey player I've ever seen with my own eyes. That's not saying a whole lot, but he's pretty freaking good as far as I know. Clutch.
Yeah, he's a badass. Badass.
3 game winners in one series.
Yeah, cojones.
That's a closer.
It's what they needed. It's what they needed. They needed a bad mofo. Last year, I was like, yeah, Huberdeau and Barkov, they're too passive. They're too nice. You need a mother effer, and then that mother effer, it trickles down to everybody else. And so if he's willing to fight, scratch, claw, instigate, whatever it is, then everybody else better be ready to, if he's willing to dive on the floor, on the ice, to anticipate a shot and block the shot, and he's willing to sell his body out, that's, and by the way, there's no doubt, right? Toughest players in all of pro sports are hockey players, not football players.
I was just talking to Haley about it. I think hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports.
Yes, not even.
But
close.
I think hockey is the hardest sport to play.
The toughest.
Because you have to be one of the best skaters in the world, and you have to be able to handle a puck or handle a stick. So like, yeah, that's a lot of things that I'm physically unable to do, bro. Like I am still struggling with the concept of how you get the puck to go upper 90 like that. I guess I saw a hockey stick up close like a year ago, and I guess it's a little at an angle.
Yeah,
it's not just like a flat.
Yeah,
it's got a curve to it. I was like, okay, never mind. That makes perfect sense then. But I'm late to the party, but man, that was cool. I definitely, if they're appropriate, tickets are appropriate, definitely going to a final. One of the Cup final games, man.
Oh yeah. It's the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, that might be a little overpriced, my brother. That one, the bandwagon is on now here in South Florida. So the money is coming out.
My local team, supporting my lifelong favorite team, the Florida Panthers. Always have been.
Yep.
But I don't know. They weren't horrible. It was like it was like 170 each.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad, bro. That's not bad.
The damn Heat tickets were the 400 level, which is a bad seat.
Yes.
The 400 level at whatever the hell we're calling that stadium, that is a bad damn seat. I will never do it again. I would rather that's lower bowl or I'm staying home. You're
better off. Anyway, hockey's better live, and then all the other sports are better on television anyway. So you did the right thing. And plus, where we're at right now with basketball has grown so much in this town. Hockey's a ways away from that, but if they continue on this pace, and you have a Tkachuk here playing like this for the next couple of years, then the prices for hockey are gonna skyrocket because it'll become more of a thing for people to go to down here in South Florida. But there's no doubt, man. Toughest dudes in sports is definitely hockey players. All right, so let's get to a little Dolphins. I thought it was really interesting. Every year you see things that coaches try to add to try to get an edge in their coaching and try to make themselves better and players better and those kind of things. And one of the things you would see is cameras on the field on top of these, whatever things that are lifting them up and filming everything. And then some of the things that they've done over the years now is in individual drills, the individual person with a camera up close filming all of that. And so coaches want to get a look at all the individual stuff too up close, not just from a wide angle shot up above and all that. And so now we saw, Tua having a camera on top of on the helmet. And to me, obviously, this is another coaching tool for them. Your thoughts on how technology continues to kind of become a bigger and bigger part of practice every single day.
It's 2023. It's 2020. If you have what damage does it do? You know what I mean?
None.
Like what does it hurt? If you have the technological capabilities and you can put the damn thing on the side of the helmet, why not? Because this way you could see. Okay, when asked, "Hey, what did you see out there?" Or if you make the wrong read, you've got the first person angle to see. Yeah, this is I saw this. I saw him starting to slide over. I saw him spying on this. Like it makes perfect sense. I don't understand why it was. You know why it was such a big deal this morning or last night whenever it came out. It was such a big deal because some of y'all let that one dude with 6,000 followers on the internet get under your skin. The TD Finstock wrote it off as some gimmick, as some unnecessary.
I see. I didn't know.
Perfectly natural thing to do. It makes perfect sense.
Is that what it is? So
that's what I saw.
I mean, yeah, I know. They've told me about that fan that does YouTube, but I mean, whatever, bro. It's a fan doing YouTube. Big deal. He has zero insight on what's going on with the team. But again, people, I don't know why they follow trolls like that, but it's kind of the way it is. But to me, I love that because people are coming back at me on DMs and stuff, and this is they were looking at it as a negative, and I didn't answer to any of it. I just let it go because to me I found it ridiculous. And so when you were just talking about, well, hey, did you make the right read? Well, normally Tua makes most of the right reads. Tua rarely throws interceptions. In fact, the way I was looking at it is it's a tool to help Tua and to help the coach. But I also think it's a tool that the coach is going to use to better his backup quarterbacks because he's going to want them to read and react the way his starter does because his starter does it better than most of the people in the league. Reading, reacting, accuracy, finding the right person, all of those things. So what I loved is people thought of the worst when you're talking about the number one rated passer in the NFL. So this is just a coaching tool. And the way I looked at it is that Tua's example will be better for Skyler and for Mike White.
Look, this is the most competitive business in America, basically, like pro sport, most competitive business in America. You keep your job by having as much information as possible to make the best decision possible. Amen. Putting a camera on your quarterback's face mask, whether or not he makes right decisions or wrong decisions, having that angle only adds to the arsenal of information, the wealth of information you have at your disposal. So put shit, man. If you can. Well, you can't because everybody else knocks heads and hits, so you can't put cameras on everybody's helmet. But if you could, if there were a way to, I bet you they would.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I wouldn't be surprised if DBs are next because kind of the way you're reading and reacting and all those kind of things, then the DB coach can kind of say, hey, this is what I need you to look at when you're in this spot.
Like,
and
it's you get to see some people. Sometimes it's hard to be able to tell from, it's hard to be able to teach based on like the all 22 angle. So to be able to have that first person angle and say, look, this is how they set up. This is how many receivers they're going to stack. This is the routes they're going to run. Again, it can only help. Like, it would be cool to get that from a DB's perspective, or, even if they hire refs on the field and put a helmet or a camera on their helmet and use that practice footage. I don't know, but the depths are endless here. We'll hear from Mike about it on on Wednesday. I believe that's the next time we are allowed at practice.
Yeah, because you weren't, but because they're already asking, like if you were slacking today, you weren't allowed in practice today. Could you just tell them?
Yeah, we don't get in every day. That's training camp, bro. Dude, I got some.
Come on, bro. It's your job, dude. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like when it's open, you're there, bro. It's pretty automatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we only get like 4 or 5. We only get like 4 or 5 practices open, maybe like 1 a week.
Yeah, these are OTAs, guys. These are OTAs.
Training camp. It's every day.
Yeah,
training camp is every day.
Yeah.
But I'm not slacking. It made me nervous for like a hot second because even my editor called me on my way to breakfast on our way to breakfast this morning, and when I didn't answer, he texted me like, "Hey, are you at OTAs?" And I was like, "Shit, should I be at OTAs?"
No, he didn't know, right? Yeah,
but yeah, no, like it's we don't get to be there every day.
No,
it's okay.
Your impressions on Tua's physical presence that apparently looking a little thicker. Did you see it the same way?
Yeah, I don't. I don't name drop people I was talking to just in case. I like to play it safe, but I was with another reporter, sitting with another reporter at practice, and he asked me, "Hey man, does Tua have extra pads on?" And I was like, I don't look like it. You can tell when you got the extra pads on because it's a weird ring around your ribs. It wasn't no extra pad. It looks like he's put on a little thickness this offseason. I don't know if that is part of the jiu-jitsu training regimen. I don't know. He has been working his core. He did tell us. I think the last time we spoke to him, that he has been working his core. So maybe it shows. Yeah, maybe it shows. But
well, he has to work his core because he's only still in his second year removed from the hip surgery, and then 2. You got to work your core because if you're a quarterback, bro, that's where all your power comes from in throwing. And if you want to throw at different angles or if you're a little off balance and those kind of things, that's the important part is having a strong core. So I think that's incredibly important for him. So it's not so much about punishment. It's also more about just personal strength. In order for you to excel at your position, you have to be as physically fit as possible. We were talking about this with Omar yesterday. Like Russell Wilson. Russell is like, bro, he's thick. Like he's not a tall guy. But one of the reasons why he can stay durable, it's because, brother, he's built like a freaking fire hydrant. You know what I mean? And so Tua's always had like a pretty strong lower half. And so now probably working on that midsection and then the upper body now and build it up a little bit more without losing that flexibility. I think that's a really smart thing on his part.
Well, like I've said, we're having a discussion, some colleagues and I, about like the era of the small quarterback. Of like, is Bryce Young the last hope of the small, undersized quarterbacks? And he's like, guys like Bryce Young, like Kyler, like Tua. I was like, Tua's short, but he's a solid 215, 220, 220 pounds. Like it's not like Bryce Young is smaller than me. Like Bryce Young is not even 6 foot, like what, 5'10"?
No, he's like
5'10", 190 pounds.
Yeah.
Did he technically clock in at 2? Bryce Young is short and small. Kyler Young is short. Tua is short.
Kyler's thick.
Those guys are.
I'll give Kyler some credit. He has some thickness to him. Besides being impossible to catch, because he is impossible. That I was scared of Kyler Murray because I like him as a passer. I think he has it as a passer. He's got to figure everything else out. But I was terrified of him taking hits. But then I learned you can't catch him. So that's going to help him for several years. Eventually, as he gets older, then maybe he'll slow down a little bit. But my Lord, that young man, you can't catch. Holy shit.
But that's got to be the most frustrating. It's like watching your favorite team play Lamar. Like it's
elusive.
Like the first 2.5 quarters, in week 2 last year for Dolphins fans watching the Ravens game. Like that was every nightmare you've ever had of playing Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Or shit, but probably better yet would be what was it, week 1, 2019?
Right.
That like 50 to 0. That's it. That's it. They've gotten better, but like it sometimes watching those guys play your favorite team, there's just a handful of athletes that like you kind of like watch the game through your hands. Like for me, watching the Kings play the Warriors, watching Steph Curry drop fucking 50 points in Game 7, like I'm sitting on my couch like peeking every time he touched the ball because I can't. It was a gut punch every single damn dribble. Like Kyler it can be one of those guys when he's really in his groove. It's like, come on, man.
I hope he matures and figures it out because the Lord gave him the opportunity and the blessing to. Like I never thought Ryan Tannehill could ever figure it out because I think his brain is scatterbrain and he doesn't read things well when just things go awry. If it's all on script, he'll be fine as a game manager. But Kyler Murray's got it, bro. He just needs to dedicate himself to it, and he has every chance to be a good quarterback in this league, dude. Every chance to be a really good quarterback in this league. It's just really up to him. All right, A-Chain, because I'm not going to ask you on OTAs, what's looking great, this, that, whatever, but the A-Chain kid as an athlete, what did you see out there that impressed you?
The versatility, the smoothness in which he can get in and out of his breaks as a receiver, I think was really impressive. I think we really need to start again. Wide receiver 3 is going to be more of a construct than a literal position.
I agree.
Like sometimes it'll be Durham, sometimes it'll be Berrios, sometimes it'll be Mostert, sometimes it'll be, you know what I mean? A-Chain's going to be in that conversation as a receiver. I can't really say, again, this is tiptoe season, so I got to be careful about what I can and can't disclose. But I can say he was impressive as a receiver, and I saw enough of him catching passes to say, wow, this kid is going to be something. I can't wait for the pads to come on so that, we can really tell when he gets away and when he can't.
I know that a lot of us were a little wowed with Tanner Conner last year, the raw athleticism, the raw speed that we saw. But again, key word, raw. He's in for a world of hurt, I think. I hope he grew up quickly because getting Higgy with it, I think was going to take. I only think one of those guys will make it. To be quite honest, the other guy either ends up on the practice squad or in somebody else's team or CFL or something. But I think, from what I saw highlights and then watching him in that TO interview, I think he's there, bro. I like him mentally and physically. I think he's in for a world of hurt in that competition. So I'm wondering, what'd you see with getting Higgy with it?
I think Tanner Conner moves a little better with the ball in his hands. If I'm
I know the raw speed is there. It's the player worried about.
It's still really early to be able to tell guys apart, especially after just one practice we get to see. Mm-hmm. But like I said last time I was on the show, I'm not ready to count Tanner Conner out quite yet. No, that was an electric. It was an electric training camp we saw out of him last year. It just didn't translate on game day, or maybe it didn't translate on the practice field. He was hurt for a lot of the season. And there just wasn't really a path for him to get playing time with Gesicki and Smythe still on the field. And I just kind of thought about it. They don't have Shaheen's a free agent. They technically did have Shaheen last year, but he was on IR. I always forget about him, but neither here nor there. I don't think the competition is decided yet. I don't even know if anybody's got an edge in it quite yet. I just know that I think Higgins is the better, over the top receiver.
He just looks more polished is the thing. That the other kid has got ability, there's no doubt, but I didn't see a polished product there. I saw a really rough diamond Whereas for me, Higgins, he looks pretty polished. He's really mature. I really like his attitude. So I'm saying this is going to be a tough competition for Tanner in a big time way. They brought somebody in that could really take his job. That's all.
It is a welcome to the league moment. You know, there's a lot of different ways to welcome somebody into the league. One of which is by bringing in direct competition right away. You can never get comfortable.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, what else? Give me that stood out to you that you liked or disliked.
There's not going to be any surprises at quarterback. I can tell you, it's not going to be any surprises at quarterback.
So you're with Omar that you were unimpressed with Mike White? Is that because Omar says he was unimpressed with his arm? So I'm just wondering, is that what you're?
I'll say it this way too. I'll say it this way again. Just like Tanner Conner, I'm not going to count Skylar Thompson out. Right yet. I think he looked a little better that day. He looked better on Tuesday. You know, like it's hard to say now in this time of year. And come training camp, like last year in training camp when we saw Skylar outperform Teddy Bridgewater day in and day out, then that's something to put some real stock into. I think he just had a better day of practice. On Tuesday, but I'm not willing to count him out yet. But the other kid, Blackman, I don't see, and I think there's one more who I keep forgetting about. But like he's not gonna make the roster. the fifth quarterback on the spring practice depth chart is not gonna make the roster. But I think it's it would be kind of interesting just to see how things play out between Skylar and Mike White. I don't think it's in the bag quite yet. The only thing Mike does have over him is he's got that in-game experience, that big number games experience. Right. So where we've seen his ability to be a gamer. We've seen that. So, but I thought it was pretty interesting. To say the least.
Did any of the young guys catch your eyes? Undrafted free agents, any of that physically? Anything catch your eye out there?
I wouldn't say no. It is technically underwear Olympics out there, Bill. But
tell you what, Jalen Phillips looks like he's physically ready to have a hell of a season.
If these are the underwear Olympics, then Jalen Phillips wins the gold, I guess. Like the guy is already one of the bigger people I've ever been around in my life, and that's being around football players, NFL players for the past 5 years. He's just taking it to the next level. It's insane. He looks physically ready to play.
I said this already for a couple months, so it has nothing to do with the picture that came out now from him at camp. 10 plus sacks this year. It was brewing last year. You could see he was figuring it out. He was right there on several sacks. I'm telling you, this is the year he breaks out. This is the year that he busts out, and people like all around the league will start talking about Jalen Phillips being one of the better pass rushers. Watch. It's going to happen this year.
Yeah, Phillips and Holland, I think, are right on that Pro Bowl cusp.
Oh, with those two corners? Oh, my God. Javon Holland is going to have a field day with those two corners because you're going to be forced to work the middle of the field. And you're now going to play into Javon Holland's hands. So have fun with that. That's going to be a lot of fun because quarterbacks are going to be worried about going after Jalen and X. So they're going to test the third and fourth quarters, and they're going to test the linebackers, and they're going to test the safeties. And Javon Holland will not have to worry so much about the islands. So he'll just worry about the peninsula. And that's it.
I was talking to obviously I'm still friends with a lot of media and non-traditional media guys in Buffalo. I was talking to one of them the other day and said, look, man, more people need to be on board with a reality in which the Dolphins win the AFC East. Like I'm not impressed. I'm not as impressed with the Bills as I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Just look how Miami played them all 3 times this year, even completely injury-riddled with the third quarterback. Come on, man. Last year was about injuries for Miami. This year, if they're healthy and the pieces they added, oh, man.
I think that Aaron Rodgers is like Josh Allen is such a star, and Aaron Rodgers was such a massive attention-drawing decision that people are not talking about the Vic Fangio hire, the Vic Fangio addition. Like that is that's a team-changing, that is a trajectory-altering hire.
Yep.
Right. That is a legendary.
That gives you your balance finally, because you had some defense because Flo could coach defense, but you couldn't figure out the offense. And that, by the way, Marcel, I just want you to know, since you stepped into our world here, that's been going on for over 2 decades. Jimmy Johnson, new defense, he destroyed the offense. Wanstead, new defense, couldn't figure out the offense. That's kind of the way it is. And then, like last year, you needed the defense, but you only had offense. And that's kind of been our problem. There's never been that balance. When you had Sperano, you had that wildcat and all that, and you had a crappy offense, but you were living off of the defense. And they've never had that balance. And your point is exceptional because Mike McDaniel came in, figured out the offense. Now it was his job to go find somebody to figure out the defense. And this is the first time in years that the Dolphins have 2 competent people on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I agree. I think, look, I'm not going to say, I'm not saying the Bills are going to be a bad team or that it's not going to be a battle.
No,
for
of course.
AFC East because of Josh Allen. Like it's why in week 3, it's why I didn't care how many players they had hurt on defense. I've said it again and again and again. It does not matter because that guy is so damn good at this game. That's what superstar quarterbacks do. Pat Mahomes can go out there with Miami Northwestern's JV team and lead a scoring drive on, he's that good. Like they are that good. That's what a superstar does. And as long as they have that superstar, they're going to be in the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
But that roster construction does not look as impressive as it did a couple years ago. They've thrived on adding, second cast-off vets who, maybe were overlooked, they were fired, they were cut, they were injury prone, this and that. And they made a name off of that. But as far as building a team through the draft, you look at the Bills' past few drafts, man. Like between that and the Dolphins, the Dolphins and even the Jets, it's not comparable. They're beating the Patriots just because Bill, convinced, is throwing names, darts at a board to draft players over the past couple of years. But the Bills haven't been that far ahead of them. So I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to seeing some real football being played because there is a very real reality, very likely reality in which the Dolphins walk away with the AFC East this year.
Oh, they will.
There's enough talent. There's enough talent. I think Louis Riddick even went on Get Up for one of the shows to say it today. And I don't consider Louis Riddick a BSer.
No, he's good, bro. He's one of the few guys that I actually respect and listen to and like what he has to say a lot of times. I think he's pretty damn objective actually overall. All right, what do you got going on ESPN so folks can check you out, my friend?
Oh man, I'm actually taking this weekend off. I'm gonna be completely honest. Haley's in town for the week. Little brother actually lands in about an hour and a half. Family affair, taking it light, taking it easy. Monitoring Christian Wilkins' situation, although I don't expect any development there over the next week.
Not till June, right? Not until they free up the money, anyways.
Yeah, it's not really, monitoring. I'm on call, but I'm on call. But
what date is it? What date in June is it when that shit happens with Byron Jones? Is it on the 1st?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right. So it's right around the corner. I love it. June 1st is gonna be big, dude. All of Asia will be investing in crypto. And then obviously this. Hey, listen, we got to have priorities in life here, okay? Crypto is always a priority. Anyway, follow him on Twitter at Marcel_ and catch him doing his thing here with the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report. Marcel, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You got it. There you go. Marcel Louis-Jacques. And when we talk about Welton Rayom, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Listen, if you're dealing with the storm issues here from the last couple of weeks and you're tired of that insurance company giving you the runaround, call Welton Rayom, please. Free consultation. You can call them from wherever you're at. You can do it all by phone, pretty much. Maybe the only time you go to the office is to pick up a check. 954-966-4646. The consultation's completely free. Ask for Jeff. Tell him that Big O sent you. Jeff Welt, great people, man. I'm telling you, go to the website, WRFLAlaw.com. That's WRFLAlaw.com. Welt and Rayom, FloridaLaw.com. FLAlaw.com. Really easy. Welt and Rayom, WR. Can't forget it, bro. Super easy. Call Jeff, and I'm telling you, they will take care of you. When Progressive was screwing with us, we called Welton Rayom, and brother, they crushed him. I'll never call the insurance company ever again. Ever. If I have an accident, something happens in my home, business, whatever, I'm going to call Welton Rayom first. They have their own adjusters. They send their adjusters, and then they contact the insurance company. You never have to worry about it. You'll never get a headache. You'll never get an ulcer. You'll never have to deal with any of those idiots from the insurance company. They're great at collecting your premium. They're terrible having to live up to their responsibilities to cover your costs. So call Welton Rayom, 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with Marcel Louis-Jacques. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
You know, I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there. A beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that. They can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden, there she is. There she is, the one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner. Bono's leaving. You got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out, cuttersedgepro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? They can cut your trees down, and the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
It's hour number 2, live from beautiful Hialeah Park. Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend, is mastering this program. We are out here in the second floor poker room. It is loading up. Only a couple tables available there. But, man, and TVs everywhere, so you can come on out here. No smoking inside the casino. They do have the smoking hot slots outside. It's a patio area. They got a lot of fans, a lot of ventilation. It stays cool there. But you can smoke, so you can bring your vape pen, your tobacco, your cigarette, whatever it is that you hit, and you can enjoy it outside. But inside, you won't have people blowing smoke in your face or anything like that. It's a comfortable atmosphere. Even here in the second floor of the poker room, they have a balcony out here, and the smokers will take their breaks, and they'll go out there, and they'll enjoy their cigarettes or cigars or vape pens, whatever it is you do. It's a beautiful thing, right? It's now legal. So, and they have the loosest slots in the state, and that is all documented by the state. So that's another thing that you can come on out here and enjoy. Dude 67, I have not watched that video. I need to do that, my brother. I will check it out. Thank you. As always, dude. Thank you for always looking out. You're always sending me music and stuff like that. You're a stud, bro. Appreciate you. Let's see what else. Frankie says everyone uses Fangio's defense. Why not use him to teach your QB how to beat everyone's defense? Oh, Frankie, that's all part of the game normally. Every defensive coordinator helps out the offensive coordinator and coach with tips. There's always crossover both ways. So McDaniel will also explain to Fangio anything that Fangio might ask him. Hey, what do you think about this? And then McDaniel will also explain it too. So there's always a crossover to help each other, on the team. So that happens normally. So I would not be surprised if that's all part of it as it is. Okay. What was the one that I saw that was kind of funny? Somebody says that That Lowry has to have one of those Toronto. There it is. Lenny Pena. Agree, Frankie Fresco. Kyle Lowry needs to have one of those Raptor performances tonight. That'll be lovely. You do know Lowry choked a lot in Toronto, right? Okay. Because, that's why they had to go get Kawhi. They had to break that thing up because they looked at it and go, yeah, Lowry Rosen is not neither one of these guys is a number one. At best case scenario, they're number twos. We need to go get a number one, and they went and got Kawhi. So I'm not hoping so much for those Toronto nights from Kyle Lowry. Okay. Now, I will tell you this. Let's get to the real deal tonight. Tonight is all about the role players. I know Jimmy's going to play. I know he's going to play hard. I know he's going to play all out. I'm not telling you he's going to be great because, hey, everybody has off nights or whatever. And Jimmy's, he's a human being. He's allowed to. But I know Jimmy's going to bust his ass tonight. The question is, will Bam Adebayo play with the kind of fire you need? Will he score and help you out offensively like they need? It's up to who else? Caleb. You got to step up. Lowry, you got to step up. Strus, you got to step up. Duncan, you got to step up. All the role players, including Bam, the super role player, they have to step up. None of them are stars. They don't score every night. None of them can lead you, but they can complement. And tonight is the night where, Caleb's been playing great. Well, you need a hell of a performance from Caleb. Okay? With Lowry, I hope you get a good performance. I'm not exactly sure what you're going to get, to be quite honest. He's been very inconsistent. He hasn't been worth the contract that you gave him. He's been a serviceable player off the bench here in the last couple of games. He hasn't been great, but overall in the playoffs, he's done a pretty damn good job. I got to give him some credit. But he's been a role player, not a $30 million star, a role player. But tonight, Bam and Lowry and Caleb and Strus and Duncan, those guys can't F around. Those guys have to score. They have to compliment Jimmy. And by the way, if you want also Jimmy to be Jimmy and have that night, it really helps him if everybody else is taking some of the load off of him too. So when he does penetrate and pass it off to Caleb, Caleb's got to hit that shot. Okay? Strus has got to hit that shot. Duncan cannot be off tonight. This is all about the role players tonight. Bam all the way down. They've got to perform. They need to complement their star. I know Jimmy's going to play with deep urgency tonight on both sides of the court. But, yeah, the role players have got to do all the little things. Yeah, sure, that's great. But I need you to do the big things. I need you to score. Help Jimmy Butler out. The Celtics, you gave them a little bit of life. They win tonight, they will get a lot of life in them, okay? And as Sean was saying, off the air earlier in the show, if this is a blowout by the Celtics, then things will get a little bit more nervous around here. Tonight is really, really important, man. I think if you're the Heat, you need to eliminate them. You cannot give them life because 3-2 does not sound insurmountable anymore. 3-0, 3-1, that sounds insurmountable. 3-2 is not insurmountable. 3-2 is very doable. And that's the way you look at it after. Once you're the 3-2, you're like, okay. And you're the better team. The Celtics have the better talent. So tonight, role players, baby. Role players better get it done starting with Bam. Yes, sir.
I was going to say also Spo tonight. He's going to have to work his magic without Vincent. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got to mess with the rotation a little bit.
Yep.
I hope
if you start Lowry.
That's what hopefully Lowry does not start. But looking at it, where would you go though with that?
Start Duncan.
Yeah. Okay. And then what? Butler handling the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Butler and
Bam.
Yeah. Butler, Bam. Right. Yeah. And then that way Lowry, Caleb, and
keep that consistent because I think they gel off each other when they're rolling, when they're hitting.
Yeah,
that second team. If you start messing with that, that's my worry. Is like
Caleb really needs. Like he's been great. He needs today because, as I've said, he's the only guy that really has a chance. This is the kind of game that we really need.
Love is playing too, right? Love is in. Just
yeah.
Out,
It's just.
So Love's gonna have to at least 5 threes. At least 5 threes from Love tonight.
I was just thinking 2 or 3.
No, we need 5. We need 5. Because somebody's got to make up for those Vincent points.
Oh God!
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like that's the thing is like even if Caleb hits, he goes off and he goes for 21 or whatever. You have Vincent's been hit 29 last game.
Right.
He's been hitting. I believe it's like 17 a game. So you've got to make up for those points somewhere.
Yeah.
Unless Boston has an off night, which they did in a couple games where they don't hit anything for a while, then you can, but you're gonna have to score.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. I think Martin and Bam need to go over 20 each. They better ball today. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear any of that shit. Bam better ball today, and Caleb's got a ball today. I mean, Bam gets paid to ball, and so does Caleb, by the way. He got his money too. So time to show up. Let's go. Help out your star. Step up. Make some of you out there look good that you claim that, Bam's a star. So, if you're going to claim that he's a star, these are the kind of moments that you got to, he needed him the other night. Did he show up? No. Didn't show up. So, if Bam supposedly is a star by some of you out there, if Bam is a star by your low standards out there, then, let's see. Bam needs to stop leaving his feet. He did this too many times last game and got in trouble. Bam needs to step the hell up. That's what he needs to do. And play like a star every night. That's what he needs to do. Anyway, what else do we have here going on in the world of sports? What do we have? What questions? Okay, doesn't look like anything out of this world. Panthers won last night 4-3 against the Hurricanes. Tkachuk, by the way, sealed it with 4 seconds left. Second Eastern Conference title for the Panthers. So second trip now to the Stanley Cup. We'll see what happens tonight. Golden Knights and the Stars. The Stars are favored by 1.5 goals. The over and under is 5.5. We need Stars here, man. Even though the date is set already, but you want these guys to play a few more games at least, man. You don't want another sweep here. We got the Heat tonight at TD Garden in a must-win situation because this creates real problems for you if you lose this game. 8:30 tip. The Celtics are favored by 8 points. I'm going to take the Heat. I'm counting on the Heat and Butler to light a fire in these role players, and they'll either win the game or keep it really close. A blowout is, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about it. No Gabe Vincent tonight with the ankle. He has been ruled out. Shams Charania broke that news. As I told you earlier, it's all about the role players. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they're able to do it, man. Would be nice. When sports and business collide, folks, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. In the future, you might be able to see your Florida Panthers take part in games like this, okay? Because if you continue to have success and you can pile on, remember, this is the 4th straight year they've made the playoffs. So now you've become a perennial playoff team. By the way, it's the Heat and the Panthers that are perennial playoff teams in town now. Let's call it like we see it here. And if you're able to have another deep run next year, you now start to become a little bit more of a household name. you'll be involved in things like this. The NHL plans to continue its outdoor stadium series with 2 2024 regular season games played at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. MetLife Stadium will host one NHL game between the Rangers and the Islanders and another one between the Devils and the Flyers, according to Sportsnet. The game will reportedly be played one day apart at MetLife, which opened in 2010 and can seat up to 82,500 fans. The NHL Stadium Series has been held every year since 2014, except for 2021, when the games typically played in late January or February in football or baseball stadiums. This year's Stadium Series game between the Washington Capitals and the Carolina Hurricanes was played on February 18th at NC State University's Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh. The NHL, by the way, held its first outdoor regular season game in 2003 and has played at least one outdoor game per year since 2008. Other outdoor series from the NHL include the Heritage Classic, the Winter Classic, and the NHL Outdoors at Lake Tahoe, held once in 2021. This year, by the way, the Heritage Classic pits the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers on October 29th. The CFL's Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. The next Winter Classic will be held January 1st, 2024. MLB's Seattle Mariners T-Mobile Park between Vegas Golden Knights and the Seattle Kraken. Okay. Now, they kind of keep it regional to where the stadium is at. So, they're probably not going to play one down here in the sun. But maybe the Panthers can be included up there. Huh? Right there, right? They can play it there? Okay. Drive Pink Stadium. Who the hell keeps it cool is the thing. By the way, you know what's cool? The QR code we've got right there for you, because if you didn't file your taxes and you need an extension, or, by the way, Biden and the boys are coming after people that have not filed their taxes over the last few years. If you're one of those and, life got complicated and you didn't file your taxes, let's get it going so they don't go after you there, man. Call the great people at KSDT CPAs, 305-670-3370. Use the QR code, all right? You don't even have to go into the office. Use the QR code. Reach out to them. They've got offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. They do an awesome, awesome job. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right, Sean, Frankie Fresco sends in a super chat. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. We love that, at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And they're asking you, Sean, how bad was that AEW decision to bring Sabu?
Only a few will get this.
Okay.
Extremely.
Okay, there you go. You got your answer. I love that. Oh, man. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. Let me see what we got here. Let me make sure. Okay. We got a couple minutes here before 3 minutes before Poop comes. Okay. Well, that's if he does it in time. All right. So one of the things, and we'll roll into Poop anyways. Yesterday, people are just idiots. And you think negative. I don't understand why. Okay. If there's something negative, I get it. Then, I think it too myself. But the Tua thing with the camera on the helmet, and again, that's why I explained it to Marcel and I explained it to you guys, because I know Marcel knows, but some of you don't. Practice was always filmed by some guy on a lift and down, right? That's it. That was the total film. One-on-ones, team drills, whatever was stretching, you name it, whatever. Everything being filmed was by one camera. And sometimes you had it in the middle of the field, or then they expanded and they went to end zones. And then you had a couple of cameras giving you angles, but from afar. You know what they did next? They now added cameras onto the field. Extra cameras. So you're right there with all the linebackers going through all their drills and everything else. And all. Now all of that is being filmed up close. Besides the one above, besides the eye in the sky. And so now they've added one to the helmet of the quarterback, which would not be surprised if it comes to other positions eventually in practice. And it's just a coaching tool. But then people make it sound like, oh my God, this is, ridiculous, remedial. Do they need this to coach Tua? And it's like, morons. This is the guy that came off the bench to win a national title. This is the guy that at the next level was the highest rated passer in the NFL. He's deadly accurate. He makes very good decisions 99% of the time. He doesn't throw a ton of interceptions. So this isn't because he's a bad quarterback. This is because the coaches see, all right, what else can I do to become a better coach and to coach my players better? And then, as I've told you, I gave you a perspective of how it's evolved with different cameras and how much more cameras are adding. And that's only because cameras are more mobile now. They're smaller now. You can add them all over the place. The Wi-Fi, everything has become so much more easier to do. You couldn't put a camera on a helmet when I started on the beat in the 90s or in 2005 or 2010. But in 2023, we have the technology. We can do it. We can build them faster, stronger. Dun, 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 dun. I'm sorry, I went into a $6 million man thing. But anyway, so this was nothing bad. This is all good. And then here's the way I look at it. All the idiots look at and twist it into negative shit, which it has nothing to do with it. Tua is a great example for any quarterback out there. The way he works, the way he reads, the way he reacts, his accuracy, all of that. I think a lot of that film is going to help Skyler and Mike White out, actually. Because those two guys have never played like Tua at the college level or at the NFL level. So it's not like any of those guys are threats anyways, but it will help them get better. And it will help the coach see so when Tua does make a mistake, he can see it himself and rewatch it and correct it. He's going to make mistakes because everybody makes mistakes. But I just love how it's spun into something that's just absolutely ridiculous. Okay? When it's just a coaching tool to help your players, like cameras have become a bigger and bigger part of everything that we do in sports. So it's nothing new. Okay? We got cameras on cops now. We couldn't do that 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's just the way it is. Things evolve, and then you figure out a way. We've got more cameras in businesses now. We've got cameras in every home now. 20, 30, 40 years ago, none of us had cameras because we couldn't afford it. Now you could just go on Amazon and buy a $30 camera, and you can put it, and you can keep track of your house. There's no difference. It's technology being used. Like I can go on my phone right now with my Sloman's Home Shield, and I can look at what's going on in my backyard and look at what's going on in my front yard. And if somebody rang the doorbell, I can answer it. And I can then go inside and make sure, and I look at the cameras inside and make sure my dogs are fine. Technology. Something I couldn't do before. That's all it is, folks. Nothing more, nothing less. But I don't know why you allow the trolls to bother you with stupidity and ignorance. All right, let's do it. Alan Poupar is ready to go with our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on a Big O radio show.
All right. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Doing great.
It's
late night last night with the Panthers.
Yeah,
but
it was a good night. That was a good night. That was a lot of fun, man, and historic as hell. And when we talk about Tkachuk, it's Shula, Riley, or Riley Shula. I don't give a shit. However you want to rank the greatest trades in South Florida history, Shula and Riley will always be 1 and 2. However you want to put it, I don't care. And then you have to start looking at some other guys. LeBron and Bosch obviously brought a couple titles. Pudge was an enormous addition to that 2003 Marlins team. And Tkachuk, this one moves ahead of Ricky Williams. Because, it was great for a rushing title, but you didn't get to a Super Bowl. This guy got you to a Stanley Cup. And 3 game-winning goals in a series, that's the kind of shit that Marino does. That's the kind of stuff that you would expect a really, really stud player to do. And Tkachuk quickly is climbing the charts as one of the greatest trades in South Florida history. Pretty amazing.
No, without question. I mean, just think of the first-year impact. It's completely crazy. And to me, it's not in the same category. I'd leave out Riley and Shula because they're not in the same category. They're not players. I hear what you're saying, but as far as players are concerned, I was thinking of this.
I mean, the impacts of those trades. Oh my God, culturally, to what the Dolphins were and what the Heat are. Jesus Christ.
But in terms of like first year impact for any South Florida player, I mean, Ricky's first year was phenomenal, but the team around him wasn't quite good enough because you remember his first year led the NFL in rushing with a team record that nobody's come close to.
Right.
But Tkachuk is like, Jesus Christ, every game it's got. And by the way, you mentioned the 3 game-winning goals that he has in this series in the Eastern Conference Final. Well,
in just one series, bro. In the
fourth game, he has the assist on the game-winning goal.
That's right.
Which was the only goal of the game. So,
right.
I know. Then he had the game-winning goal against Boston in Game 5. So completely ridiculously clutch.
It's just stupid, bro. It's just stupid how good that guy is and his impact and all of that stuff. So, and if you win the cup, then, it becomes one, it's just like, wow, holy shit, dude. And that hit by Bennett, that's the other thing I loved about that game too, because I was so tired over the years of watching our guys be such wussies. And they would take a beating, and everybody took a shot at Trocheck when Trocheck was with us, including the Carolina Hurricanes, by the way, took some shots at him after then acquiring him later on. But and our guys would just take it. And now this is a completely different team. This team doesn't take shit from anybody. And when your superstar doesn't take shit from anybody and is also willing to be an instigator, brother, that just puts no limits on the rest of you. You better be willing to sacrifice as much as that guy, because when he throws his body on the ice to save that shot, I mean, what superstar? Only hockey superstars do that. Only hockey superstars do that.
Yeah, I will say this though. I mean, Bennett's always never been afraid to throw his body around, even the past few years. But Tkachuk, I don't want to say brought it to another level. I mean, I think the whole thing is Tkachuk brought an extra dimension of grit that this team didn't have. They also
Radko and all that. Yeah.
Well, Radko has always been Radko, so that hasn't changed. But they also completely changed the way they played to, as I told you many times, to play a playoff type of game, which they never did before. Here's to me what kind of a telling sign last night. And mind you, it didn't have anything to do with the outcome, but the result of the hit, and it was a clean hit. The result of it was bad, in large part because Slavin hit his head on the boards after he got knocked off balance. And then Carolina did something really weird, which is confronted Bennett, which I totally get. That's the hockey unwritten rule. But usually somebody starts throwing punches. Well, what they did is they started slashing him, and they got 2 penalties on the play, and the Panthers got 1, and they gave the Panthers a power play and never really did anything to Bennett. So that was kind of weird. But to go back to the original point, yeah, he's brought a whole new and
everybody.
The coach.
I give Zito all the credit in the world because since he got here, he noticed that his team was soft, and he started with Radko and others, and he started to acquire players that just brought a different nastiness to the game, and now it's all over the team now. And to me, that's refreshing because in hockey, you know, that was the 90s team that got to the Stanley Cup because of Paul Laws and other guys. They didn't take shit from people either, you know, and that was kind of, they were scrappy and all that kind of stuff, and that helped them. And to me, you know, our teams in the past, especially the last couple of years, they were so finesse oriented because they were so good scoring wise, but then you could push them around. And this group, you don't push these guys around, bro. And I love it. I freaking love it. I think it's fair.
I went back and looked at the quotes when Paul Maurice was hired, and he mentioned marveling at the skill that Panthers have. And he goes like, you'll see they'll make passes that go over 3 sticks. And he's like, that doesn't work in the playoffs. You can get away with that in the regular season. That doesn't work in the playoffs. And that's what happened against Tampa Bay. And I know 2 years ago, the narrative was that Vasilevsky stole the series for Tampa Bay, which was,
well, yeah, because they added him late and all that.
Partly,
yeah.
No, part of Vasilevsky is a goalie. Partly true, and then last year the Panthers didn't even come close. I mean, they were like not threatening offensively because they couldn't do anything. If you look at a lot of their goals, again, it's close to the net, what they call greasy goals.
Yeah, which is exactly how it ended last night, right around the net.
Mind you, if you remember, Sam Bennett occupying the goalie, to the point where they reviewed it to make sure there wasn't goaltender interference.
Right. Yeah. Crazy stuff. All right. Does Poupart know the Expos are no longer a team anymore? Says
no way.
What? I mean, I thought I was watching the Expos last night. Weren't the Expos on last night? Yeah.
Tell me you know nothing
Expos are no longer in baseball.
Telling me that. Jesus Christ. No, I was born and raised in Montreal and was like a completely hardcore, diehard Expos fan, but thank you for the news flash.
I know he allowed a couple goals yesterday, but man, Bob has been freaking amazing, dude. Really amazing. And I listen, I give props to Carolina. They're a damn good team. What the Panthers did to sweep that team, my God, what they've done for these 3 rounds, it's just unheard of, really. It really is, because they've played like they're the better team. It's not just flukish or a lucky break here or there. No. They have outplayed their opponents.
No. Sorry, I'm going to disagree with you here. I will agree with you. They completely outplayed Toronto. I will give you that one. Boston, flip a coin. Boston could have nailed that series like 5 different times. Against Carolina, dude, it's 4-1 goal games. Quadruple overtime.
But you win.
But it's, if you tell me that there's no fluke or anything like that involved in winning overtime games, don't tell me the Panthers. I mean, let's.
Well, dude, it can't be flukish if you continue to do it. It cannot be flukish.
I'm not saying it's flukish, but please, dude, don't tell me that the Panthers badly outplayed Carolina. They didn't. It was an even series.
No, I didn't
just happened to get the goal.
Did I say badly? I just said they have outplayed their opponents.
I don't believe they didn't outplay Carolina. It was an even series, and they just got the goals at the clutch times.
But they won 4-0. They outplayed them.
Triple overtime, 4.9 seconds left, and they won 1-0. Okay,
you didn't win one.
I'm not in an arguing mood. Okay, dude, I'm not in an arguing mood. You want to say that they outplayed the Hurricanes? Go for it. I'm not arguing with you. That's fine.
Okay, but how can you not say that at least I didn't say badly, but
they did not outplay.
These teams are all better
on large margins every single game. If Bobrovsky, just the fact You just prefaced this by talking about how great Bobrovsky played.
Yeah, bro, he was awesome.
Guess what? If Bobrovsky doesn't badly outplay the Carolina goaltenders in this series, who weren't terrible, but Bobrovsky was superior, Panthers don't win that series. But I am just telling you.
Oop, I know that you're the hockey expert and I'm a hockey schmuck, but there's no such thing as a championship run without the goaltender actually playing great. They all have to play great.
I didn't say that.
I mean,
I'm
that's
just
part of the game.
pushing back against your narrative that the Panthers outplayed the Hurricanes. They didn't. They won 4 close games.
If it was 4-3 and they won in 7, then I agree with you. But when you sweep a team, I think you outplayed them. I don't know.
You can believe that. You can believe
I'm
that.
just saying.
I think you would ask if this was scored as a boxing match. I'm not so sure Carolina doesn't get the edge.
Oh no, you outbox somebody if you won all 4 rounds.
Okay.
Or 12 rounds or whatever it is.
Boxing, that's not the same thing.
Actually, that's a bad analogy because in boxing, if you win all the rounds, you dominated.
Boxing is a terrible analogy. Boxing is a horrible analogy. It's not the same thing. The Hurricanes had territorial advantage for more of the series than the Panthers. Not quite close, actually. No, hats off to the Panthers. Did a great job. Bob was outstanding. Kachuk was clutch like crazy.
The best player on the ice. He was the best player on the ice.
Sure, but that's a bridge too far for me to say that the Panthers outplayed the Hurricanes. Let's just be happy they swept them.
That's
not good enough. Big O, by all means, feel free to feel how you want to feel.
Poop, it's a sweep. It's a freaking sweep, dude. I mean,
it's hockey.
I know.
Hockey.
Okay.
The margin between winning and losing in hockey is like this compared to basketball or football or baseball. It's not the same thing.
Are they writing in Carolina that this was a close series?
Their head coach. I guess you didn't hear their head coach.
What do you say?
Check out his clip from the post game, which that to me is taking it a step too far. He basically said, "I watch all the games. No duh, you're the coach." And he goes, basically, we didn't lose. This was not a series. This was not a sweep. I don't make the exact phrasing was basically saying we won everywhere except on the scoreboard. And he's not entirely wrong. The phrasing was bad, but he's not entirely wrong. The general overall point that he made is that he wasn't pissed or disappointed the way his team played.
Okay.
It's just the way the puck goes every once in a while. That's just
no, I got it. I just kind of would go with that if it was a 4-3 series. 4-2, okay. But 4-0, God, you didn't win any of them. I mean, that's kind of weak. By the way, why are there so many idiots out there twisting a camera on a helmet to be like a negative thing? I tried to explain to people because you and I have been to a lot of practices for several decades now. It started with one camera above. Then it started with 2 end zone cameras above. And then it started with cameras above and then cameras in each positional group. So they can, it's only technology, bro.
And the towers, don't forget the towers.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said, up above.
Yeah.
But my point is, you have cameras in your house now. 20, 30 years ago, we couldn't afford that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we have cameras, rear view cameras in our cars now, which we didn't have. That's just technology. It's just a way to better yourself. Coverage, like right now, I could get on my phone. I was explaining to people, I can look in my backyard. I can look inside my house and see if my dogs are fine. If somebody rings a doorbell, I can talk to them. It's just technology. And by the way, on the football field, it's the same thing. It's been evolving. So now we have the kind of cameras that can go on a helmet. What's the big deal? Why make it sound like you have a remedial quarterback that needs all the help in the world when the guy was the number 1 rated passer in the NFL? This is just a coaching tool. Can you explain to people that, please?
It's another way of gathering additional information to help your quarterback and all your players with their craft. In this particular case, they can go back and I'm sure it films as well. Or so there's a filming mechanism somewhere in there where they can go back and look at the footage. Okay. And then he can talk to his quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator. What are you seeing on this play? What should you be looking at? And to me, it's like the more information is never bad.
Right. Right.
Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better. And then it's like, and again, it's like with the jujitsu thing. Whatever percentage of help it provides, it's more than zero.
Amen.
So unless it detracts from something else, why would anybody have an issue with this? The same thing with the camera here. If it provides 2% of help,
right?
It's 2% you otherwise wouldn't have. So what's?
And by the way, I was also looking at it in a positive way, where Tua normally makes all the right decisions. He more often than not, 9 out of 10 times, he's making the right decisions. He's making the right plays. It also sets an example for your second and your third quarterbacks. And those guys are probably mentally behind Tua and maybe even physically. So they can also show, hey, look, this is how Tua played this. This is what you've got to do in the same situation. So you can also use the positive plays out of it as examples to help your other quarterbacks there on the roster. Even the fourth stringer, that's probably a really green dude, has to kind of, learn a little bit. So it can be used multiple ways to correct what Tua did wrong, and to also help educate the other quarterbacks, because I'm sure you'll file on the library the stuff you're going to want to use as teaching tools, along the way.
Absolutely. Plays that are not consequential, they're not going to keep. And then the plays where there's an educational benefit, those you stack up in your library. I mean, yeah, it's just. I'm like surprised that I saw that you were talking about it. It's actually become an issue, and I'm.
It's stupid. It's ridiculous. By the way, were you able to keep track of when players were overworked or hydrated 10 years ago and 15, 20 years ago? No. And can they do that now, Poop? Do they not have trackers on their bodies and all that now? I mean, it's ridiculous, dude. It just it gets to a point where it just overboard, and I just feel, because it's the off season, we got to reach for material or try to create controversy where there is none whatsoever.
And the other part of that is you have a very polarizing quarterback, where
true.
It's going to create anything involving him is going to create discussion, debate all over the place. Where in a lot of cases there does need to be one.
Okay, give me something that stood out to you. I know it's just OTAs, my brother, so I'm not asking for anything football-wise, but I am asking physically. Anything out there that stood out to you a little bit from any of the young guys or the veterans?
The thing that stuck out to me is when guys came out for interviews, like Austin Jackson was like, somebody worked on his body over the off season. Him, Jalen Waddle, I was like, Jesus. Dude's like twice the size he was. Like the upper body, it was like, didn't know he had biceps on him. I mean, it was like, damn. That stuck out to me.
Phillips looked good too, bro.
Well,
I'm predicting 10+ sacks for his ass this year.
I don't recall him never not being cut. So that didn't surprise me when I saw that, even though I was like, Jesus Christ, that guy's cut. In terms of what I saw on the field.
And by the way, I have a ton of admiration for Austin Jackson. Very few human beings are able to stay as positive and fight through all the adversity in life when it's hit you year after year. And he struggled to find his way. And then last year with all the injuries, and then, his career started off rocky because his last year at USC, the whole bone marrow thing, and he didn't really have his strength. And yet he still played the entire season and all of that. And so this young man has been through a lot. Yep. And the attitude that he has, you have seen it before, Poop, like I have, and many others that are watching. We've seen the guy that struggles, and then he gets frustrated, and then he points fingers, and he makes excuses. That dude's never pointed fingers, never made excuses. And he's always been willing and what's it called? Encouraged to take on whatever challenge it is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he had that great attitude last year. And then when I saw the press conference again just a couple days ago, it's easy to root for Austin Jackson. Actually,
big time. No, I like the kid a lot. I mean, my kid, I mean, he's 20, 23, 24, however
We're
old he
old,
is. For me,
we're old farts, bro.
exactly. For me, as a kid, no, you hit on the head when you said like he's an easy guy to root for. Absolutely. For all the reasons involved, he's a very, very level-headed, nice guy. And also, I'll give him props for admitting that, he says I read a lot. And I took that to mean like he reads what's written about him and all that. And spoiler alert, 95% of players do that. Very few players admit it.
Right.
So props to him for admitting it. And no, I mean, he certainly looked the part. I mean, his body is, I mean, he really did a lot of work on his body. In terms of what I saw in the practice, two things that stood out to me, and then their running backs and their two running backs is I was looking at Devon Achane, and it was like, he's fast, but I had to look very, very carefully to make sure I wasn't looking at Salvon Ahmed. They're 26 and 28, and because I was kind of halfway seeing the same guy.
Okay. All right.
The one guy I actually thought looked good was the UDFA, was probably got no shot of making the team because he's a running back where they're loaded, and that's Chris Brooks.
Really? Okay.
Who's the biggest back that they have, the biggest halfback that they have, and I really like the way he moved. I saw some nice fluidity in his movement for a guy his size, which impressed me.
Yeah, well, they have an eye for backs because at least
they got no room for him. Where's he?
I know they have no. I know they have no room. But what I'm saying is, what you're seeing, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually got a little some because you got Gaskin at the end of the draft. You found Salvon Ahmed off of somebody else's practice squad. The trade for Jeff Wilson was really productive for you and all that. So they've done a nice job overall with backs. Not perfect, but so I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like that, hits overall. That would be kind of interesting. Maybe a guy you can stash on the practice squad.
Correct. I definitely could see that happening. The wide receiver. I'm gonna hate to do it, but I didn't. I have said I'm not necessarily totally on board with the Mike White signing.
Oh yeah,
he's
competition for Skyler. So
I did not like
Omar told us
the ball. I hate it. I do not like his delivery. It's slow. It's mechanical. No, did not like it.
Yeah, Omar told me on his segment that he said that you guys were talking about it. And I said to Omar, so it was his arm, not the 8 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 62% completion percentage, 75 quarterback rating. That's not what kind of,
No, to me, it's the eye test because there have been quarterbacks who have had poor numbers.
He doesn't make great decisions. That's the thing I worry about him. At times he doesn't make great decisions. He gets in trouble, and maybe it's because of what you just talked about. I don't know. I need to see him a little bit more up close, and I'll see him at training camp. But Omar kind of said the same thing, that he was not impressed at all with Mike White.
Yeah, no. I want to become a believer because this could be a very important player at some point in the season for the Dolphins. Ideally not, but he could become an important player for this team. And I want to be sold on the guy, and certainly wasn't sold by the numbers with the Jets. With the Jets, here's the thing. He played 7 games. He had 2 really good games, and the other 5 were like, so
I know.
I need to be convinced, and I certainly wasn't.
It's this Miami thing, bro. I talked about this. It happens with these guys that are from here. There's this extra oomph from our local fan base that they get blinded by the guy that's locally from here. And it just happens all the time, dude. I mean, I'm sure you're still getting the Dalvin Cook stuff. And here they are citing Jeff Wilson to an extension, drafting Achane, and then they're still talking about Dalvin Cook. And I get it, he's a terrific player, but it's also the Miami thing. It's just, there's always that extra juice for anybody that's from this area. To bring them back.
Half the NFL either lives or trains in Miami. So there's like so many who have a connection. And I see stories still along like the best trade destinations for Dalvin Cook. Nobody's trading for Dalvin Cook. Nobody wants to take on that contract.
I know that. So. Yeah. By the way, what the hell is Saquon Barkley thinking turning down 13, 14 million from the Giants? Did he
Did
basically
he do
just
that?
tell him, I want to get traded, I want to leave from here? Because
dude, yeah.
right?
I actually wasn't on top of that one. Woof. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you got going on SI so folks can check you out?
I just posted a story on the aforementioned Jalen Waddle, looking at all aspects of him heading into his third season. And you'll love this since we spoke about Tua and the polarizing thing. Omar dissected the Chris Sims ranking of Tua and all the comments that he made in that ranking. And I see you shaking your head. I know that would play well with you. But Omar addressed point by point and made some interesting points.
The guy's just a loser. He put him behind.
Put him behind Mac Jones.
Dude, come on, bro. It's just, yeah. I mean, that's disgusting, bro. You're just a moron. You know, there's no excuse. Chris Sims is pathetic. But you know, what are you going to do? So it is what it is. What you agreed with that ranking?
No, I did not. Okay. Never said I did.
Yeah. Okay, just in case.
Yeah.
Where would you?
I would be comfortable anywhere in the 12 to 15 range.
All right. Okay. All right. That's fair. I'd put him higher, but that's fair. That's understandable. I can deal with that. 21, whatever.
Seems low.
You need to get slapped. All right. Anyway, follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. And remember, you're not an official Dolphins fan until you bookmark alldolphins.com. That makes you unofficial. You can have season tickets. You can have suite tickets. You can own a jersey or 2 or 5 or 10. You can go to a Dolphins bar. It doesn't make you a Dolphins fan. You got to bookmark alldolphins.com. So make sure you do that. Poop, have a great weekend, my friend. We will catch up next week. Thank you.
Sounds like a plan. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate you. There you go. Alan Poupart, baby. And when we talk about EJD Construction, they do it all. Custom home construction, major home remodeling. I give you the owner's personal cell number, 305-433-4843. Save it on that cell phone, 305-433-4843. They can do anything that you need. You need to extend that home. Maybe you want to build a we just got a listener in Palm Beach. No, Broward. He doesn't go to Palm Beach. It's only Dade and Broward. Broward. It was Plantation, not Palm Beach. Plantation is what I was thinking of. And I'm not going to say a name or anything, but building actually an efficiency on their property because they're going to use it as an Airbnb. Pretty smart. Got a big property. Want to build an efficiency. You want to do that. Maybe you got a family member that needs to move over. Maybe, a grandmother, grandfather, your mother, your father. Getting a little older, you want to bring over, but they want to have their own independence. I've seen that before. But if you want to do what they did, which build like an extra unit to be an Airbnb, you can do that too, man. They do it all at EJD Construction. They can build a what's it called? Modernize your roof. If your roof is a little too old and the insurance company's telling you, hey, you got to update it, they can do that for you. You need to build an extra extension to your house. You want to modernize the kitchen. They do all kinds of things. Call my friend Eric at ejdconstruction.com in Dade and Broward counties only. Okay, because I made the mistake of mentioning Palm Beach, and people were calling from Palm Beach, and Eric's like, no, I can't, I'm sorry. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Understood exactly what Poop was talking about, but I still can't agree with it. I can't say it was a close series when you got swept. If you constantly lose a close game, then you're not very good at closing. And so I gotta say at least they outplayed them. At least I have to say that. I didn't say badly, because then he threw that adjective in there, and that was not accurate because I didn't say that. And some of you are saying Poop is right. And I get what you're saying, but it doesn't make sense to me because you got swept. If it was 4-3, 4-2 the series, you tell me it was a close series, I'd tell you, okay, yeah, they won some games. Yeah, it was close, but they didn't win a game. And I know it's one-goal games, but you didn't win a damn game. And you lost 4 straight. That one's just hard for me to understand. How can I not say you outplayed them? You swept them. Sweeping is at least outplaying them, right? Anyway, True Fin Fan, thank you for the love in the super chat. Tyreek Hill or Darryl Green in a race, who wins? God, that's a toss-up. They're both incredibly fast. I'm going to go Darryl Green. Okay, there you go, just to piss people off. Billy Shaw, yes, sir. Who wins? Thank you, Billy Shaw. Appreciate it. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. So we are going to find out something that I've been questioning forever. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is that enigma that we're trying to figure out, right? Some of you say he's a great quarterback. I say he's an athlete with the ball in his hands. That's what I say. You know, Bill Polian was wrong when he called him a receiver. He's really more like a running back. And so a running back trying to play quarterback. And I've said this because I've watched him in the playoffs pissing his pants on a consistent basis because he can't throw the ball. And once he falls behind, he has trouble pushing the ball downfield with his arm. Not that he can't throw it. He's got a whip of an arm. His accuracy sucks. So guess what? Now you've gotten rid of your offensive coordinator. Todd Monken is now the new offensive coordinator. And according to Lamar Jackson, coach is basically giving us the keys to the offense. So he says, and the new offense had to get it down pat before the season rolls in. He says, because the season is getting near, even though we've got a couple of months left, but still, just want to learn the new offense and get with my guys. Just being able to throw the ball downfield, Jackson says, changes the offense. Running can only take you so far. Shocker. Wow, that's what I've been saying for years. I feel like with this new era of teams and the offenses in this league, I feel like we need that. And Coach Todd Monken, what I'm seeing in this offense so far, it's tremendous. He says, absolutely, especially with the receivers we have, it's looking really good. You can change things when you want to, he says. You see the defense and it's not looking right to you, see some guy blitzing, you might want your receiver to do something different. Coach is giving you the free will to do whatever you want. So, we're going to find out now. This is it. We finally will find out if he actually will become a passer in this league and not depend on his legs. And to me, that's when I'm going to tell you I'm wrong or I told you so. Because so far, it's I told you so. You know what I mean? And I watched it firsthand last year. You were up by 21. And here comes Tua coming back with his arm, not with his legs, and taking the lead, and you couldn't answer back. Every single time they were scoring, you couldn't answer back. They figured out your run like they do in the playoffs all the time. It's a great offense in the regular season because it's hard to prepare for. Once you get to the playoffs, the better teams are there, the better defenses are there, and all they do is say, shut down the run, force him to pass. Force him to beat you with his arm. Well, here we go. You gave him all that money. Now you're tied to this contract. If he doesn't pass this test, that contract will become an albatross and he will get exposed. So this year, it's the shit or get off the pot year for me and for Lamar Jackson. So we're going to find out if he actually can be a passer on a consistent basis. And if he can actually hit receivers on a consistent basis, especially downfield. We're going to find out. Can he win by using his legs less? Test is coming. Todd Monken and John Harbaugh have opened it up for Mr. Lamar Jackson. Duper or Tyreek, who wins? Tyreek. Let's see. The Florida Panthers are only the third team in NHL history to beat three of the top four teams in the playoffs. I know. But they didn't outplay them. Oh, man. Let's see. They aren't the stinking Jets, but I can't stand the Ravens as much as I can stand the Jets. Yeah, I'm with you there. I actually don't like the Ravens because they've beaten the Dolphins so badly. So watching Tua beat their asses twice, once off the bench 2 years ago, and then last year, it's been nice. It's been nice. But we have a quarterback now. That's the beauty. And Belichick is defeated against Tua, while Tua is undefeated against Belichick. So, again, True Fin fan with a little super chat. You and I both know Lamar won't succeed. Time's up. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. For his sake, I hope I'm wrong. Okay? For his sake. And for the Ravens. We will find out. Huh? Yeah, like week 17. Yeah, it's something like that. You are correct, sir. You are correct. Where are we at now? Market-wise. Bitcoin still hanging around. Yeah, right around the 27,000 range. Okay. I'll take it. Ooh, the Jasmine dip is going on, baby. Yeah. The Jasmine dip. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The Jasmine dip. Taking advantage. By the way, news on Jasmine came out over the last couple of days at the Web3 Summit. They are building their own wallet and blockchain. That is enormous news that they're building a blockchain. Okay? That is like, that just makes me even more aggressive. Not a financial advisor, just a guy that loves crypto, but I am not stopping on loading up on the Jasmine, bro. Big time. Let's see. In Big O, what are you expecting in tonight's game? I already talked about it. I know what needs to happen in tonight's game. To be quite honest, I'm very nervous about this game because I need to. Where now the pressure starts to build a little bit on the role players. And those guys, like, I'm not worried about Jimmy tonight. Maybe he's off. That can happen, but it's not because of fear or anything. He can have a bad game. We're all entitled to it. I hope he doesn't. But I'll tell you this: I am a little nervous about that with these guys because we are asking young, unproven players to come up in these kind of moments, and it's a lot to ask. But Caleb has been beautiful. Hopefully he'll step up. Bam has to step up offensively. He needs to score. I'm already tired of having will Bam become aggressive? That'll never happen. It's not who he is, unfortunately. But I hope today he woke up and wants to play a little aggressive and play a little pissed or something. But Strus has to be magical tonight. That's what I've talked about. It's really more on the role players than anybody else, to be quite honest. You know? So it's hard to, like I've told you guys before, I have more confidence in the Panthers than I do in the Heat. I feel the Panthers are the real deal. They had a whole new system. They had injuries throughout the entire year. They were never healthy until the end of the year, and they finally got healthy. And then the goaltender finally played like what you expected 4 years ago when you signed them to that large contract. So all of a sudden now Bob is playing like Columbus Bob, and everybody else has, I just think that when I look, put it this way, when I look at Tkachuk and Barkov and Verhaeghe and Reinhart and Bennett and Duclair and Huberdeau, not Huberdeau, Montour, when I look at guys like that group of 7, it's way better. Listen to me, way better than Jimmy and Bam and Tyler and Strus and Caleb and Lowry and Gabe Vincent. That 7, excluding Bob, okay, is better than this 7. And that's my problem with the Heat. The Heat I worry about. Like if Tkachuk is not doing as like this night, he's not scoring. Bro, Verhaeghe's going to score, and Bennett's going to score, and Reinhardt's going to score, and Montour's going to score, and Duclair is going to score. And I just have like a whole load of confidence that everybody, you got a bunch of badasses. Put it that way. Okay? I'm still baffled at the absolute homer pick by my guy Ira Winderman on picking Tyler over Verhaeghe. I'm still like really? Like that guy's not half the player Verhaeghe is. And so that's kind of my issue with tonight, that I worry about those young guys having to step up. All right. Give us 1 minute here, and we'll be back and hopefully ready to go here and talk a little bit. Give me a 1 minute break here, Sean, por favor. Be right back here on the Big O Radio Show live from Hialeah Park. For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There we are, back at Hialeah Park. Yes, sir. Loosest slots in town. And Steve Calabro ready to join us here at Hialeah Park. How you feeling, Steve? You feeling good? Wait a minute. Is Mike on? There we go. How you feeling, baby?
Feeling really good. You know, it's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah,
There's
man.
a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the Dolphins, the schedule's out.
Yes.
Been out for a little while. I was on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey
teams in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Hockey team is amazing. It's amazing when a Florida hockey team is in the Stanley Cup Finals. You know,
it's going to be Vegas, Florida.
Yeah, that's Vegas. You know, that's Vegas, Miami. You know, let's go Vegas, Miami.
Yeah,
know? I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know, it was
cool.
It was odd when Tampa won it that year. You know, it was like,
they won it a couple times.
Yeah, they were. Well,
they're a great franchise.
They
have turned into one of the great franchises in the NHL
in a very unlikely geographic location for hockey.
Yeah,
you know, the Canadians are probably like shuddering when that happens.
Well, but I think it's actually good for the sport to expand and grow. And plus, by the way, who are we kidding? It's not like Florida's loaded with people in the Northeast anyways that are all hockey fans anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy, but
you know what I mean? So we've got a whole bunch of Rangers, Islanders, Flyers fans.
Devils.
Right,
Jersey Devils.
They've gone in and adopted our team, and a bunch of them are season ticket holders and things like that.
So I have a hockey story.
Right.
Sometimes I give you these little tidbit stories. People, your listeners are just like, oh no, not one of those Calabro stories again. But so I was very close with the CFO of the Devils, who was sort of a partial owner of the Devils years ago when John McMullen owned the Devils. So I had these unbelievable seats for about 15 years. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest mistakes personally, when he called me and said, listen, do you want to buy those seats for the rest of your life? You know, there was a transitional team. The team was being sold. And this was row 8 behind the Devils bench, a row of four seats, only 4 seats in the entire row, the tunnels on the left and the aisles on the right, like the best seat in the house. I remember being there one day. I remember being in that row, and row 8 was good because like the first 5 rows, the players are in your way, right? And behind me 2 rows was Donald Trump with his kids. So I was in better seats than Donald Trump back when Trump thought he was getting really good seats to the hockey game, right? So I didn't buy them, but that's a big mistake. But here's the story. So one day I go to the game. I should take my son. My son, who lives in Philly, is a big Devils fan. Explain that, you know, with the
Jersey.
That's
Philly
a tough one.
Is always
that's a tough one with the Philly hockey fans. But so we go to the game, and we're a little late. And you know, it's the first couple of times I'm going to the game, and I said, you know what, I got to learn the rules, the penalty calls.
By the way, your son was a bandwagoner on the Martin Brodeur train. That's what he was.
We love Brodeur. I mean, he was all about Brodeur. You know, Brodeur was every year, every game, right?
Martin Brodeur is like one of the greatest goaltenders ever.
And it's never even happened close, you know. But there was other guys too, Stevens, and there was some other guys that were.
It's hard to get another Martin Brodeur.
Oh, that's impossible,
on, man. That's like Patrick Waugh and stuff like that.
So they had this thing called Scoro. Now this is how long ago it was. My son's 30, and my son was like 7. You know what I mean? And they had this thing where they picked people, you bought a program, and if the program was autographed by one of the players, you got picked to go out on the ice between the second and the third period and shoot 2 shots into the goal. But the goal was covered
with a hole.
There was a little like shoebox, smaller than a shoebox hole, right? So now I go out there and I get my program, and they said, ladies and gentlemen, go to page 73 of your oh my God, my program's I'm in Scoro. I'm one of the 5 people that are going to go out into the ice. So I go down there, and I'm in between they give me a stick. Right now, there's a bunch of young kids. There's like, you know, a 13-year-old, a 15-year-old. I'm about 40 at the time, 35 maybe. And, you know, and so they go, okay, this is little Johnny Jones from, you know, Morristown, New Jersey. And he shoots not even close, you know. And they go through 4 guys. And then there's little Stevie Calabro, but I'm 35 years old, right? We're in center ice, though, right? And they go, Steve Calabro from Atlantic City, New Jersey. And so I'm like, you know, it's 18,000 people, right? You get 2 shots at it. And the guy puts the puck down. He goes, you could do it, you know? I shoot the puck. The puck's going down. It's unbelievable. The crowd, 18,000 people are literally on their feet. Ah! And it stops 3 inches in front of the goal, runs out of steam, in the center of the opening. And the crowd's going nuts. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, little Stevie Calabro, 35-year-old, has another shot at it, right? So the guy says to me, he goes, okay, you could do it. Just hit it a little harder. Okay? A little easier.
That stick is curved.
Okay. So he puts the puck down. 18,000 people are on their feet. I shoot the puck. The puck goes much harder. It goes to the left. It hits the goalpost, makes a noise like boing. Right. 18,000 people simultaneously boo me off the ice. That was my hockey career. 18,000 people. You ever been booed by 18,000?
No. I get booed by people every day, actually.
It's an interesting feeling, to say the least. Yeah. Oh, to give you how long ago it was, if you got 1 goal, you won a VCR. Okay, we all know the VCR is like 30-year-old technology,
right?
And then you got invited to come back the last game of the season, and there was this Cadillac on the ice, and if you did it a second time, you'd win the Cadillac. You know, obviously nobody. Right. You have to hit mid center ice, you know, in a 8-inch hole twice in front of 18,000 people. It's not really happening, you know, but I got close. Yeah, I got close. That's my hockey career, and that's why I'm working in the casino.
You got any faith in the Heat tonight?
Oh, I love the Heat.
What happened? Oh, 18,001 says Pat in Asheville, now booing.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat.
I was actually hanging out with Pat last week.
Well, he sounds like a great guy. Yeah, sounds like he understands a good story.
We went to he got tickets to a concert, and he treated me to the concert.
Nice.
So I flew up to Raleigh to go see it.
What was the show? What was the concert?
It was a Crowded House.
Nice.
Yeah. So next month I actually see Pat again for The Cure in Atlanta. So yeah.
Nice.
So there
you're a little worldly now.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Getting out there.
We connect with the peoples. We're a man of the peoples.
Well, so listen. I wanted to talk.
What do we got going on, bro?
Well, no. First of all, we got a lot going on in Hialeah. Obviously, you know, we introduced the See a Million, Win a Million, but it's not going to happen till August. But your viewers and listeners were the first to know. And I want to let you know that, you know, poker action here is always been positive, hot, real hot, super hot. But I think it's actually better this year than in prior years. We have these $4,000 an hour high hands. They're unbelievable. You know, we have one, matter of fact, coming up this Monday,
okay.
12 to 8. They're just if you're playing It's almost crazy if you play poker. It's almost crazy not to come here on Monday, Memorial Day. It's like literally nuts. And believe me, it will be crowded. It will be crowded, but you got a shot. We're giving it away, and they're great. And in June, we're doing 2 of them, the second and fourth Friday.
Nice.
So we're these aren't going to stop. So poker has been bad. And lay on top of that. So the high hands are really good all month. Obviously, the 4,000 being the best. But our bad beat is 100,000. The bad beat is 100,000. So that's pretty sweet. We give some reasons for our poker players to be here, and certainly we give you mentioned earlier, best slot payouts.
But, yeah. And by the way, again, while you're sitting down having poker, the ladies will bring you drinks. They can bring you food. There's TVs all over. You can also wager on some of the tracks around the country too at the same time. So there's all kinds of ways you can entertain yourself, okay? So that's the other thing that you're going to love, because it's really convenient, and no smoking in the casino, which to me, that's my favorite thing, because I don't mind somebody smoking, but I'd rather be in a place where nobody's throwing smoke in your face. And they have the hot smoking slots outside in the patio roof and ventilation, all that. So it's really cool in there. So they do have a place. And what I love is you've got the balcony out here where people can
take a smoke
break and all that good stuff. So you can bring your vape pen or your cigar or cigarette or whatever and enjoy it out there while you take a break. So that's a cool thing. So it's not just the poker. They also have the restaurants. Tomorrow night you'll have the DJs.
Absolutely.
Friday and
Saturday night.
Yeah.
And look, and there's over 60 televisions in the poker room. So if you're playing poker, we're about customer service. So if you say, listen, I want the Heat game on this television because it's the angle's a little better for me. No problem. We'll put it on. Yep. So it's that's why we have it set up the way we do. But I'm gonna
and really comfortable captain's chairs and everything for you out here. So yeah, you're gonna love it, man.
I'm gonna turn to a different topic though.
What do you got?
The Miami Dolphins schedule.
Yeah, what about it?
I want to know your opinion. So, first of all, I look at the schedule and I see 3 weeks where it's make or break. Literally, to me, it's a make or break type of part of the year.
I just can't do that.
Not the first 3 weeks.
No, I'm just saying I can't do that. I don't know what teams are going to be and where they're going to be and what injuries and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I know. I'm assuming that things are relatively intact. Okay, like I'm not saying that no major injuries, but there's some relative, the normal. One guy's out, 2 guys out that might have a difference. But I see this part. So the first 8 games, it could go either way. It could be, 6-2, 4-4, whatever the heck the record is.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happens is they go into what I think is a very, very, very tough little part there where they go, it got cut off on my sheet here, but it was New England and Kansas City. And there's a game right before that, too. It just escapes me right now. Do you know the game before?
No, I haven't memorized it.
Come on. Yeah, get this memorized. Yeah.
I don't really care about schedules.
But those 3 weeks are make or break in my mind.
Nah.
Come on. No, those are going to be 3 games that you got to win. Kansas City, New England.
Well, New England, you always win. I'm not worried about New England. Tua's undefeated against that deadbeat.
But at any rate, you don't like the schedules. What about the game in Germany? Are you like?
Well, you're talking about it's the Chargers, New England, and Denver, and then that's what you're talking about.
No, a little later.
A little later. Oh, Philadelphia, New England, Kansas City. Yeah, that's a hell of a stretch.
Right.
But New England's not tough.
Wait, Philadelphia, you're playing the 2 Super Bowl teams and New England in the middle.
Well, New England isn't anything. I'm not worried about New England. Philly and KC I worry about. I don't worry about New England.
I just think that's 3 weeks.
That's like the people like, oh, we got the Knicks this round. The Knicks are nothing. And so I'm not worried about New England. New England does not scare me at all. But Philadelphia and Kansas
City are real.
They got my respect, of course. And they're loaded.
And the other thing about Kansas City, it's going to be in Germany, right? So it's going to be a weird situation. That's tough on the players. I know it's all about money in the NFL and blah, 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 blah. But I think that's a tough situation. But it leads me to another thing. I'm going to change directions, but still NFL. So the NFL rule changes. I want to know your take on it. The rule changes that I saw was the Thursday night game.
Oh, the flexing stuff.
Yeah, the flexing. So
But you got 28 days.
Okay, but I'm not talking about the players. I'm not talking about the teams.
The fans.
I'm talking about the fans in this one.
Yeah.
So you think about Miami. A lot of people fly in to come to the game, right?
Yeah.
And it may not happen this year, but maybe it's if this rule stays around.
This screws the fans.
Right. So you fly in, you think you're coming to a Sunday game. So you're coming down from New England, or you're coming from Buffalo. So you make your plane ticket on Friday, and you're going to go home Monday morning, right?
Right.
But they moved the Sunday game to Thursday.
Right.
Now you have your hotel, you have your rent-a-car, you have your
get ready to pay more.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden, now you got to
short notice.
Or I guess what we could say as Miami people say, don't come down on Friday to Monday. Come down Thursday morning to Monday and play it both ways in case the game gets moved. Because you're not going to, like, in other words, make.
Oh no, but it would be the Thursday after, right? No, it would be the Thursday
before.
Yeah, it would be the
Thursday before.
But you have 28 days. Yeah, you have 28 days. Yeah, but dude, still yeah. But still, it's going to screw you for flights. The flights, especially.
I just don't think the NFL's about money. We all know that.
Yeah, but they're not about. But they're not about the fans.
They're not about the fan.
They've never been about the fans.
About the fans. It just.
I explain to people whether you're a Democrat or Republican, they're not about you either.
yeah, well, that's true too.
But we have people out there like defending their Democrats, defending their Republicans.
He's going to help me out, right?
They're going to help me out, and they don't give a shit about any of you, but you keep getting suckered.
The only difference between politics is, and the NFL, like you're paying money. You're a fan. You're buying tickets. You're buying. You're spurring the economy, so to speak. And the last five, I just don't like that rule.
But they're so Teflon. Nothing. Nothing.
That's the
nothing
answer.
Affects this league at all, dude.
It's just
it really doesn't matter if a player killed somebody, if the owner is a cheater, if they whatever happens in the NFL, it is Teflon, dude.
Yeah, and this is a good example of it. And now the weird part about it in the vote.
It's a drug. We're crack addicts, and
that's
our drug.
And look, think about sports betting. We're the gambling guys, right? So, sports betting, the majority of sports betting in most sports books is NFL. NFL, and it's not like it's going on for 6 months of the year. It's literally 4 months.
Yeah,
it's not like
we see it in our downloads.
Yeah, it's. The NFL is just such a. I guess
we'll have one or two, hockey insiders or basketball insider, but we got like 5 or 6 football insiders. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at more this season.
So I guess
I'm trying to plan on that right now.
So what you guys you're the bartender that I'm complaining to. Like just bitching about the NFL.
Yeah,
it's kind of from a fan standpoint,
regular
fan.
They don't care about us, dude.
Like
they've never cared about us.
Huh? Yeah, you're coming back.
Yeah, you're
coming back. Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'll get over it.
Doesn't matter. What's it called? They're the national anthem. They're standing. I'll never watch football again.
Yeah, and now their
ratings can't be higher. More people, and all you idiots. They're standing. Bro, they're not even standing during the game. They're standing pre-game. What the hell are you talking about? I don't want anybody sitting during the national anthem during my football. Well, during the football, they're not playing the national anthem. Whatever. And all those people that complained, 99.9% of them are all watching football again. This league, nothing stops it, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely the case.
Roselle played the weekend after JFK was killed.
And it wasn't and it's way more powerful now, 40 years later, 50 years later than back in the 60s. You know what I mean?
But you know how
even then it could do it.
He was criticized till he died for doing that.
And it didn't matter.
And it didn't affect the league whatsoever, dude.
Yeah, I'm just sticking up for the regular guy.
Yeah, no,
the regular guy who buys that ticket and goes out there and supports the team. And even me, I'm a season ticket holder, so I have 4 seats. So a lot of times, friends from the north will fly down. Now you got to think about those last 5 weeks. Like, hey, come down on Thursday morning because just in case they start playing.
You want to know how little I know about this? I'll show you how little I know about this. What did I tell you? Basketball's got problems, right? All these people are taking off, all that. What did we just read about a month ago? Ratings and attendance never higher in the NBA. And yet your stars miss 20% easily of a season now. So you're paying season tickets, and I know people that are canceled their heat tickets. You know, after this run, they probably say, I'm reversing.
Maybe I shouldn't have.
but the bottom line is people are talking about, oh, well, these stars aren't showing up, this, that. And people are still paying for the tickets, and they're still showing up. And if they know that,
yeah, they continue on.
They can do whatever they want. And NFL owners have 1,000 more times the power than NBA owners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like not even close. It's what you said. When it comes to ratings and attention and all that, football, it just dwarfs everything.
You know what, though? This vote, though.
College football dwarfs all the other sports.
Yeah, especially
outside of the NFL.
Especially the big 5 or 10 that matter.
SEC football will
forget it,
dwarf everything except the NFL.
I haven't been to a game. Like I haven't been to a Florida State or University of Florida game ever.
Really?
I've never. And I'm planning to try to go up to University of Florida. I think I'm more of a Gator guy than a Seminole. I'm not really sure yet. I'm trying to find my place in the.
Is this because you have a kid studying there?
No. I have a little bit of a connection with the Gators,
okay.
but
I'm just saying this is not the town you want to start saying I have a connection to either one, but whatever.
Oh, University of Miami.
Yeah.
No, but you have to usually pick between. Unfortunately, University of Miami. They had such a great era for about 10 or 15 years.
Oh, he's saying it's over.
I haven't seen it in the last 15.
Yeah, no,
have you?
20.
20. Okay, I'm sorry. I was trying to be kind.
Bro. 2001 was the last one.
I was saying 202.
And we probably should have won 2002 if they didn't steal it from us.
Okay, so
but yeah, it's been
20 years. Yeah,
20 years.
It's a little bit. And look, I love the whole Catholics versus convicts. I love that whole thing. That. Yeah. But it's tough.
Oh,
I mean,
we didn't create that, by the way.
No, I know, but it's kind of has some.
I'm just saying,
it's pretty fun to watch. It's just pretty.
They
cool
just
to
wanted
watch.
to call our guys the convicts.
Well, I mean, that was Notre Dame trying to make they're so clean and squeaky, but I think squeaky is more accurate than clean. But the University of Miami, I think they lost their way with football. Hopefully they can
find it. Well, they
didn't
have the money. And now they're spending the money. So now we'll see if they can get back.
But why did they not have the money? They had 10 years of national TV.
They didn't want to spend it. They were cheap for years. I've ripped the University of Miami for over a decade now for being cheap.
But
now is when they finally started spending. So now we'll see if Mario can get them back to.
Yeah, and they're certainly building in the last year.
I have faith in Mario. I think he'll figure it out.
But there is something.
I don't think they'll be very good this year. Still, I still think he's a ways away. Because I still think they're a 7 or 8 win team this year.
But I'll leave you with this. I know I'm struggling as a Floridian to try to pick my college team.
Although, listen, with all bullshit aside, there's more Gators and Seminole alumni in South Florida than University of Miami.
Yeah,
so,
that's weird.
Because we can all afford to send our kids to those places.
You can't afford $70,000 for University of Miami.
Most of us can't afford to send our kids. My daughter went a semester there only because she was, given a scholarship.
Yeah,
they gave her a scholarship for a medical program there for a semester, and they gave her a dorm.
Yeah, nice.
For one semester.
It's valuable.
So,
very valuable.
Yeah, it was part of the program or whatever. But it's not because my wife and I could afford to pay for that shit.
Most people can't afford $70,000 a year. Are you kidding me?
No.
It's like it's Coral Gables, man. It's a rich kid's school.
We got lucky. We didn't even pay a dime for FIU because she went, all scholarship. But we could have at least afforded FIU.
Yeah.
We can afford to send the kid to FSU or Florida, but you can't. You have to make money, man.
But I'll leave you with this.
Your parents better have some cash.
I'm leaning Gator-wise, and I'll tell you why. And you're not going to like it.
I don't know.
Tim Tebow. I just think he was
okay.
I think he's like the man, I think he was disrespected in the NFL. I don't know. Something happened.
No, he just wasn't good enough for the NFL.
I don't know.
A lot of guys.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of guys that were stars in college, and then they weren't good enough for the NFL.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that.
No, the guy was a great college
The guy's
competitor.
a Hall of Fame college quarterback, dude.
Yeah.
A winner.
And strange as it was.
Yeah, did you ever see him stop the kid's seizure at a baseball game?
No, it's a video.
You should
YouTube it.
YouTube when he's playing for the Mets in the minors, and some kid is having a seizure in the stands. He goes over to the stands and he puts his hand on the kid, and the kid stops having a seizure.
No, don't tell me that.
It's on video.
Really? I think he's like a modern day hero. You know,
there's some about that guy.
He's special.
There's some about that guy. I'm not ever going to argue that.
Yeah, and that's where I'm leaning a little. You know? I was up there and I said, you know,
he can't be that bad of a passer and win a game in the NFL like he did. A playoff game.
Yeah, playoff game with Denver.
Demaryius Thomas going across the field.
And
he
Denver,
nailed him and wham.
Denver wasn't that good.
No. They had a defense.
They had a great defense.
They've had for under John Elway. John Elway could never find a quarterback. He could never draft
he did that by design.
He had to trade for Peyton Manning, which any moron can do that. But
except we could have, and we didn't.
He drafted. Well, he didn't want to come here, but he drafted 800 of them, and he couldn't find ever. It's like Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
like John Elway and Michael Jordan are the worst personnel directors in the history of time. But the screwed up part is,
it's good defense though.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like
Von Miller,
it's like your boy. Now it's your boy, Steve Spurrier. Since you want to be a Gator now,
and wait,
Steve Spurrier goes to South Carolina. And he forgot about the fun and gun. There was no fun. There was no gun. There was no nothing. But he got Jadeveon Clowney and defense and all that at South Carolina. They had a D while he was there.
Yeah.
And they had no O. And it was like, yo, you're Steve
Spurrier. You're a Heisman Trophy winner.
You're Steve Spurrier, bro. Where's the offense?
All right, easy trivia question, and I'm gonna bolt. Florida Gators. 3 Heisman Trophy winners. You've already mentioned
Spurrier, Tebow.
What's the third? It's an odd one. An older kid, I would say. Did not really make it in the NFL.
Oh, it wasn't it the
Danny
kid?
Werfel.
Yeah.
Danny Werfel.
The God Squatter.
Danny Werfel. Yep. Yeah. That's their three Heisman Trophy winners.
And none of them NFL.
Yeah, nothing. I mean,
There's nothing wrong with that, dude.
Spurrier had a little
Dude,
career.
we had Steve Walsh at UM, and he's my favorite.
Oh, what about
Steve Walsh is my favorite UM quarterback.
No, not
Jim Kelly. Not Jim Kelly. Definitely not choking for a Testaverde.
Who was the other
Steve
Italian
Walsh.
guy? Not Testaverde. Toretta.
Yeah, Gino Toretta.
And nothing in the
Trophy.
NFL. Nothing in the NFL.
Nope.
And I met him. He came to Hialeah. He came here like 10 years ago. I remember we were opening up, and
Gino's a stud, bro. He's a
nice guy.
He's a great dude.
He was very nice. But
he's a great human being, bro.
Anyhow, so that's my exit. Come to Hialeah Park.
Lots of Heisman, bro. What's the name of the guy from Ohio State that the Bengals took?
The running back.
He won
Griffin,
it twice.
Griffin.
No, not RG3. No.
No. The running back.
The running back. Yeah,
he won it back-to-back years.
He won the Heisman twice.
I thought it was Archie Griffin.
Archie Griffin.
Yeah. Won 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
And he's got a so-so NFL career.
Useless in the NFL.
Yeah,
useless,
I know.
Because it doesn't matter. It's not important.
I have
Robbie Bosco was a monster at BYU. He was a great college quarterback.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But don't ever take Robbie Bosco's love away, because he was awesome. Just like Steve Walsh is my favorite UM quarterback. He was money. He was clutch. He doesn't have a tenth of the talent of Jim Kelly.
And how about Kosar had a pretty good NFL year.
Kosar had a pretty damn good NFL career. Obviously was clutch here.
Kelly had a good one.
You know what I mean? But to me, you got to separate the two, because sometimes you're just a great college player, and there's zero wrong with that. Zero. That's a phenomenal accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, you're the best player in the NFL, college career,
or one of the best, or whatever.
Yeah. If you're invited to New York for that ceremony, you're a spectacular player.
Ty Detmer was a hell of a college player, and then he just was like a jag in the NFL.
He was a backup. He was a backup for like 20 years, 15 years, you know?
Yeah, but he was never going to be anything like he was at BYU.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of the way it goes sometimes.
So you're going on Heisman. I'm going to give you one last thing, and then I got to go. So
did you say that like 15 minutes ago?
Yeah, that's my problem, yeah. So I have a Heisman Trophy story. Right? So I'm going to college. This is back in the 70s, right? And I run track. So my track coach in the summer, we're going to be camp counselors at this under
meatballs. Bill Murray. I saw you.
Yeah, kids were under.
Are you ready for the summer?
They had no money. We fed them breakfast. We fed them lunch. And activities in between, right? And my coach is a great guy, and he really gave back to the community. So I get my 20 kids, and I got this one kid. He's unbelievable. I said, Coach, this kid's 10 years old. He's as fast as I've ever seen. This is an unbelievably speedster. And okay, Steve, sure. Turns out, fast forward, his name is Gordy Lockbaum.
Oh, God.
He was number 2 in Heisman Trophy
Holy
voting.
Cross.
Holy Cross.
I know.
Little Gordy was on my little summer camp team. And I remember telling my coach, I said, I don't know what this kid is, but he doesn't beat the other kids. He is so fast. It's in the 50-yard dash, he's beating them by 20 yards. You know what I mean? And little Gordy Lockbaum.
You might be a little too young for Gordy Lockbaum.
Gordy
Just
Lockbaum.
a little bit.
Just
a little bit. It's not that much off.
Gordy Lockbaum was number 2. I don't know who won the Heisman that year, but he went to Holy Cross. Steve Caliber was his summer camp counselor in 1977. I can tell you that. 77 or
Gordy Lockbaum.
He was from Glassboro High School, which was a Group 1 school, had 100.
I'm trying to remember
100 kids, 100
I'm
boys.
I'm trying to see if off memory I can remember who won the Heisman over him, because this is. I want to say this is mid to late 80s.
Because he would have been a 10-year-old kid in the 70s, so mid 80s.
Yeah,
86 to 88. Somewhere we'll have to Google that one, but good old the fact that you.
My God, could you look up Vinny Testaverde?
Well, the Heisman, the Heisman.
Oh, yes.
So think about it, Big O. I got to tell you something. I'm super impressed that you.
Huh?
L-O-C-K-B-A-U-M.
You're impressed that I know.
You're impressed that I know Gordy Lockbaum.
Why wouldn't
Big O? That's huge.
Why wouldn't I know Gordy Lockbaum?
I'm telling you, there's 9.
Half
the guys wouldn't know it. Half the sports guys wouldn't know that.
I follow sports, dude. I live sports. Since I was a child, I have lived sports.
I mean, that's really impressive.
He might have been the Vinny Testaverde year. I want to say that, but somebody will look it up and somebody will correct me.
Gordy's half bald now. You got a picture of him. He's half bald.
Yeah, he was a hell of a player.
He's 57 years old.
My age. He's my age.
So he went.
It was
Glassboro High School, Holy Cross College, 88. He was 88. He was the
runner-up.
It was the Holy Cross.
So 88. So who was the winner in 88?
That's the question.
Dude, did Vinny choked? Was it 85 or 87? No, 87 was Dennis Erickson, right? Was Craig Erickson. 85 was Vinny, right? No, 80. Wait a minute. McPherson? Oh, really? You Syracuse? No, he won the Heisman? Don McPherson, Syracuse quarterback, he won the Heisman. 88. Well,
88 draft.
Just look at Gordy Lockbaum and see if he's the second. It doesn't give you the list? Oh, okay. Well, so who's 88? Because
88, 88. He was the he was drafted.
88. Who's the 88 Heisman Trophy winner? Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders beats Gordy Lockbaum.
Okay, there you go.
A little bit of a difference.
That makes sense. That makes sense because. I
87. Tim Brown.
Tim Brown was 87.
Notre Dame.
Tim Brown was first. McPherson second. Lockbaum.
Oh, so
Lockbaum was third.
Lockbaum was third. Okay.
So
Don McPherson from Syracuse was second. God, I don't remember
that.
That was a really good team.
Those
days, the Don McPherson, those teams at Syracuse, they were fun to watch, dude. They were fun to watch. They were, Lorenzo White, Ironhead Hayward. Wow. Chris Spielman. Thurman Thomas. Look at that shit.
Green, Emmett Smith, Bobby Humphrey.
Emmett Smith, he beat him in votes for that.
Damn, Emmett Smith was in 10th place.
Holy shit,
man.
In 86,
Lockbaum was 5th in 86. Oh, there you go. Vinny Testaverde won it the year before.
He went to New York twice.
So Vinny Testaverde won it, and Gordy was 5th on that voting. How about that? At least I was kind of close with the Vinny Gordy thing. How about that?
Testaverde, Paul Palmer, Jim Harbaugh, Brian Bosworth, Gordon Lockbaum.
Wow. So, and the trivia question that now your viewers know is, who was Gordy Lockbaum's summer camp counselor in 1977? And that answer is Steve Calabro from Hialeah Park Casino. Anyhow, I need to leave at that point.
There you go. That's it.
Before somebody
That's
throws
it.
something at me.
You're part of the North Star Vipers.
If your viewers could throw something through the screen, they'd
They
probably
would.
start throwing cans and stuff at me.
They would.
I just want to leave on that note. So
There you go.
it was a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Gordy
brother.
Lockbaum, the man.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, take advantage of the high hands out here, the poker bad beats, $100,000, and obviously the $4,000 a day high hands here. That's going to be pretty awesome. So, and the loosest slots, baby, at Hialeah Park. Damn, that's amazing stuff. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you. Big time. Big time. Big time. Go ahead. Put up his mic there, because he's not done. No, I haven't said bye yet.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Okay, I have one more for you. Dino Hall.
Dino Hall.
Dino Hall played 8 years in the NFL.
Dino Hall.
I'll tell you who his coach was. Sam Rutigliano.
Oh God, yes, I know that. Cleveland Browns.
So Dino
Yes.
was one of the smallest guys in the NFL at the time. 5'5".
So he played with Brian Sipe and Ozzie Newsome and Reggie Rucker and all those guys.
What was the guy that was the heart attack quarterback? Was it Sipes? Yeah, maybe.
Brian Sipe.
Yeah, Sipes. Yeah. So
the Cardiac Kids.
So I went to Glassboro State.
You're talking Cardiac
Cardiac
Kids.
Kid. Yeah, the heart attack. Yeah, I was close. The heart attack.
I'm going heart attack.
Heart attack.
What the hell is he talking about? Brian Sipe
Cardiac.
didn't have a heart attack, and I'm going, Cardiac Kids, bro. Yes,
you understand
exactly.
Steve Calabro,
Yeah.
So
I remember Sam
So Dino Hall was like they listed him 5'7", but he was 5'5". He was my college. We had apartments, and he lived from here, me to you. His door was on that side, our door was on this side, and he played. He was the leading rusher in Division III in his senior year in NCAA Division III football. A very, very quick guy. And he played like 8 or 9 years with the Cleveland Browns, and he had some records because he was a punt returner.
Oh, okay.
And when he would go to the huddle, he was so short. He was like 5'5". He'd have to like put his hands up like this, put his hands on his shoulders. Sorry about that. His hands on his shoulders like this. And he was the nicest guy, very disciplined, strong, fast. Just a good kid. And I went to college with him, and he was a hell of a ball player. Just really had heart, And he played like 8 years in the NFL.
Yeah, and that was a team that surprised some people. Huh?
What's that? Glassboro State. So Glassboro State is just outside of Philadelphia, about 10 miles, but in South Jersey.
Okay.
So I was from North Jersey, and that was a big trip to go down to South Jersey, and it was all farmlands down there. And I remember my father took me down there, and he was like, he's from the city, my dad, and there was peach orchards and apple orchards, and my dad's like, why all these trees the same height? He was like, he didn't really understand the whole farming thing. It was a very rural community, and great little, great school. It's since changed its name to Rowan University, but that's another story.
Right.
But he played. Rutigliano loved Dino. Just thought Dino had the most heart and kept him on a team for a long, long time. That
was a fun team.
Yeah,
those were fun Browns teams. I remember.
And he was like the punt returner, like the Dolphins. What was the guy the Dolphins had? Akeem.
Jakeem Grant.
Jakeem Grant. It's like sort of like a player like that,
right?
Almost identical to that. But Dino was just a good.
Ozzie Newsome was such a pleasure to watch, man.
Good guy, but anyhow, so now you know Dino. That's
gotcha.
Dino Hall. That's it. But Gordy Lockbaum still very impressive.
All right, my brother.
Adios, guys.
You got it. Oh, I love it. All right, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? We got 8:30 tonight. TD Garden. Celtics are favored by 8. Over and unders 215.5. We'll see what happens. We are rooting for the Stars tonight. We need Dallas to win. By the way, I'd be remiss if I did not mention, rest in peace, Tina Turner passed away yesterday at the age of 83. The legend, the amazing talent and legend that is Tina Turner. Also, today in music history, on May 25th in 96 on this date, Sublime singer Bradley Nowell died of a heroin overdose in San Francisco in a hotel room. He was 28 years old. In 68 on this date, Simon and Garfunkel scored their second number one album with Bookends. Listen to this. It featured the hit songs A Hazy Shade of Winter, At the Zoo, Faking It, and Mrs. Robinson. It's a hell of an album. In 83, Dio, he released Holy Diver. Love it, bro. Little Holy Diver. Been down too long in the midnight sea. Oh, what's becoming of me? Look out. Ride the tiger. Anyway, next up, it is in 74, Rick Wakeman became the first member of Yes to have an album hit number one in the UK. It was his record of Journey to the Center of the Earth. So that is what happened today in music history. The other thing, just in case for those of you out there, remember I told you about Reels having a documentary yesterday. I told you about it, and it was Guns N' Roses rockumentary, right? They've got one now coming of Journey. Reels has announced a Journey special, Journey, A Voice Lost and Found, will be premiering on the network on Sunday, June 25th at 9 p.m. Now, there's a twist to this that is kind of screwed up. All right. The synopsis is Journey dominated the American music scene from the 70s and the 80s with their epic arena rock anthems and power ballads. Frontman Steve Perry, dubbed The Voice, thanks to the untouchable vocal styling that burned up the radio waves and made him a household name. But the bigger Journey became, the more miserable Perry grew. He was a rare rock superstar who craved anonymity more than applause. Then, the height of the band's success, Perry did the unthinkable, quitting Journey. That alone should have been an absolute death knell for the band, so defined by a single voice. But Journey's other longtime members refused to give up the dream and brought it to a new singer to keep the music going. Fans were livid that anyone would dare try to fill Perry's shoes. Shows were played in empty houses and threats were even made against the band. With that, replacement singer didn't work out. Desperation forced the band to turn to YouTube for the most unlikely inspiration. Now, this is the twist. Journey members Jonathan Cain, Dean Castronova are joined by former members Jeff Scott Soto and Narada Michael Walden, as well as Sirius XM personality Eddie Trunk and former Journey producer Kevin Elson to tell the band's amazing tale. Journey, A Voice Lost and Found, produced by AMS Pictures. What is wrong with that? Where's Neil Sean? The reason why Journey exists is Neil Sean more than anything else. Okay? The amazing part was that they could find Arnel Pineda, the Philippine young man who has done a marvelous job filling in. Now, if you don't know the politics of what's going on with that band, Jonathan Cain and Neil Sean do not speak whatsoever. Okay? All right? They hate each other. Cain is like this big Trumpy, and Sean hates that he, mixes in politics or whatever. So, and then Arnel Pineda, who's the guy that took over for Perry, which is part of this story, is also not in this rockumentary. So, it'll be kind of a story told, but you won't get all the facts because not everybody is there. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway. So, there you go. Zachary says Miami better get it done. I agree. They definitely better get it done. Fetty Wap, a little more music news. Fetty Wap sentenced to 6 years in prison for his role in a drug trafficking conspiracy that blanketed parts of Long Island and New Jersey in cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl, that is. Or is it? Fentanyl, right? Fentanyl. And crack, by the way. He didn't leave anything out. Prosecutors say the 31-year-old hip-hop star, whose real name is Willie Jr. Maxwell II, was a kilogram-level redistributor for the drug trafficking organization. Arrested, now he'll serve jail time. I wonder if he saw it coming. Anyway. You're going to just say that, Got to get it out there. Isais, thank you for the love. Sending in a little Bitcoin love on Cash App. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And Isais sending in a little Bitcoin. He says, let's go Heat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you big time, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Those are my favorites right there. A little Bitcoin donation. Remember, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Always appreciate all of you out there, as always, for supporting us here on the program. All right, so we'll see what happens. Panthers get it done. They're in the Stanley Cup with a sweep of the Hurricanes, which is just absolutely amazing. Tonight, we got the Golden Knights taking on the Stars. We need the Stars to win. And then we've got the Heat taking on the Celtics. You know what? I didn't even check. What's going on with the Marlins? They're down right now? They're losing? Okay. Soler hit another home run? Oh, boy, he's getting closer and closer to Yankeeville. 6-4. We're winning? Oh, we're down? Okay. That sucks. All right. All right. Anyway, we are out of here. We thank Steve Calabro. We thank Alan Poupar, Marcel Louis-Jacques, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend. We thank Frank Fiore, as always, making it happen. And, of course, nothing happens without the Brunetti family and John Brunetti Jr., big sponsor and supporter of our program, and we love it. Thank you, sir, as always. And thanks to everybody out here at Hialeah Park for making it nice and easy for us to broadcast. Tomorrow, we're at Acura, right? Tomorrow. So tomorrow we're at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. So if you live or work in the area, we'll be out there tomorrow morning. Remember, Thursday's the only day we do an afternoon show. Tomorrow, 10 to 1. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show.